mind if I do?
Covino and Rich. Are you ready?
Honestly, how do I deal with you every day?
Get ready.
You heard all about it on the radio.
Get ready.
Whoa! Yeah!
Holy mother nugget! And holy mother meatball! Can't stop the hustle.
I'm the smartest man alive! You're so ridiculous. What? You're such a fool. Get out of here.
Oh, I'm a disc jockey.
What's a disc jockey?
Here we go. Covino and Rich.
Let's go!
Yeah, let's go.
This thing on? Are we live?
Welcome back, Steve
What's going
Covino. It's on. You're on.
Welcome to the show. Sports, entertainment, life, recovery. Covino and Rich live from two separate locations on the west side.
West Side. We got stuff to talk about today. Taunting, butt cheeks, tantric sex, Dexter, pimples, marathons. There's a lot to get to. Covino, Rich, Spot, and you guys. Let's be rocking out on a Tuesday.
Let's go. Do my best to stay positive. It's very difficult to remain positive when you're feeling the brain fog that I'm feeling.
Fog.
Yeah, it's like COVID blesses you with this really negative lens. It's not rose-colored filter. It's not rose-colored glasses. It's like everything you see is like terrible.
Right.
So I'm going to do my best to bring some good vibes and try to catch up and start to get on the right track. I clearly don't feel like I should be here yet, but going to do my best to catch up and start to get into the swing of things. I started yesterday on Turbo, and it was quite the struggle, but happy to, get started and just get back on track, I guess.
How would you consider your rock level yesterday? Were you like partially rocking out or not even like rocking out much at all?
Like not even close.
Like, yo, Turbo, Covino, like, yo, here's 9 Inch Nails. Have fun with this. Like that was like your breaks?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I did my best. I'm not going to just not care. I cared, but I don't think they're expecting me to come out rocking and a rolling my first day back from the hospital. I got back late last night. No, the night before. And, I have a 1970s oxygen droid. I have like an R2-D2 filling me with oxygen.
Oh, yeah.
I got like
I thought that was a new cleaning device. I thought it was sort of like a Roomba type of thing.
It's pathetic what they send you home with. It's like, what year is this? It feels
it's a medical device. What did you want?
I mean, I've seen other oxygen devices. They don't look like that. It looks like it's from 1972, this thing.
Look at this thing.
Oh my God, that does look like it's from 1972.
Did they deliver that, or did you have to bring that home?
Yeah, no, he went to go get it in a DeLorean back in 1972 at Calabasas Medical Center.
So is it?
Yeah.
Is it forced air, or is it just like a regular oxygen machine?
Well, that thing fills up the tanks, but it also provides oxygen. So I was sleeping on that last night. As loud as could be. It's really intrusive.
So is it like a sleep apnea where it forces air down your mouth, or is it just like you're attached to oxygen like a nasal cannula?
Yeah, no, it forces oxygen, but it also fills the tanks. And I got like 4 tanks. And again, that's just because of the pneumonia. I think what happened was the pneumonia is what really set me back and put me into the hospital in the first place. When you think back about how this all started, Rich's in-laws got COVID and they're old and they recovered much quicker than I got. We saw Rich's mother-in-law and she looked terrible. She was back in action in like a few days and they were unvaccinated. It totally wrecked me. And
It got you.
It's because I think of the pneumonia and how I couldn't breathe and how my oxygen levels just immediately plummeted after that. So now I'm still on the oxygen as a result, but I'm on all this medication. Like I said, the brain fog is really what's bad. And
by the way, could that device?
I feel short of breath right now.
Could that device also charge Spot's car?
Dude, it might as well, honestly. Like the thing is just monstrous. It doesn't work right.
Did you
Everything
program?
about it's annoying.
Did you program it to talk to you like Paulie programmed his robot in Rocky IV?
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Not only that,
need more
it's the
oxygen?
second one I've gotten. The second one. So, and then, like I said, everything's confusing to me because I can't even think straight. Like, let me read this to you guys.
Do you? I have a question. Do you attach your butthole to this metal piece right here?
You
right
sit?
there?
Is that what you sit on?
Is that
that
what
part?
you sit on it and it like blows air in your butt?
I just can't believe, and I say this respectfully, that, Rich's in-laws who are in their 70s were out and about, and I'm still dealing with the fucking droid from 1972 just to help me breathe.
Yeah.
Look at it. I think it affected all of us differently.
Everyone, it affects every single person differently.
That's the most evident thing
of
I
all
could have
time,
ever told you after dealing with this bullshit. Because
and you never
there's
know.
no reason that I should have been in a hospital. There's no reason I should have been diagnosed on the 23rd of October and then just gotten released out of the hospital yesterday. Yeah. Meanwhile, like I said, people twice my age who honestly looked terrible at one point.
It's not the vid. It's the like you said. It's the what COVID led to, and that was the pneumonia. That's the thing. That's where all the discrepancies were. Covino, like a year and a half ago, God forbid someone died. The whole speculation was, well, did they die of COVID or what it gave them? That. If you remember back like a year ago, that was the big fight everyone was having. Like, well, was their demise COVID or what COVID gave them? And does that mean it was COVID? So, yeah, it affects everyone different.
Like
I feel like I might be the only guy who really didn't lose that much weight from COVID. I feel like I gained weight through COVID.
Even with the hospital food, you still gained weight.
Adds to the fun. Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like atrophy set in all the worst possible places. Like all my muscle structure is completely gone.
Oh, you're not wearing a Grinch costume for Halloween for Christmas.
Exactly, but my belly's still there. It's like my
bro.
face, my nose, like my nose got thin. Everything got thin. My muscles got thin, but like my belly's still the same. I think I still gained weight somehow.
Did you just say your nose got thin?
I got so soft.
Yeah,
I got soft, and I'm still having trouble breathing. Like I still can't really catch my breath properly. But for you, it's obviously much more extreme. So it's settled in your lungs. That was always the concern, settling in the lungs. That's why people were on respirators.
I gotta say, it's like it's not. I'm gonna try to stay positive. I'm really gonna do my best to stay positive and hopefully share some laughs eventually. But I feel like I lost a few things. I feel like I lost my personality. I feel like I lost my mojo.
Well, that'll come back. It's like
I lost my health for sure. I lost my breathing capacity, but I have zero personality, none. I feel like my life was sucked out of me, and I'm seeing through and I'm going to try. Believe me, I'm not doing this intentionally. I'm just giving you the play-by-play, like through a really negative, like everything. I hate everything. I'm like, this floor looks like shit. This football game sucks. The show is boring as fuck. I hate everything. I hate everybody.
You should be happy though. Now
I'm hoping to get past that. I feel a little better today than I did yesterday.
I think that's probably the as Spot would probably say one of the effects most people get when they were sidelined. And
yeah, it's an ugly feeling, really ugly feeling. But get this, guys. I need your help. I need your lack of brain fog because I already fucked up. I'm on like these. It's called dexamethasone, right?
Say it again. Dexamethasone.
Dexamethasone. And yesterday I was supposed to take 3 tabs 3 times a day. 3 tabs 3 times a day for 2 days. And I think I messed up already. So is that 9 tabs?
9 tabs a day, yeah.
Yeah.
3 tabs 3 times a day for 2 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's 9.
That's correct.
Sorry, I already messed up.
What do you have? 3? You have 3 protein bars a day? Just have 3 with each protein bar. You eat.
Dexamethasone.
Just put 3 pills next to each keto bar you
is
have.
A corticosteroid used for anti-inflammatory, and it's used on COVID-19. So that's interesting. Okay.
So 3 times a day. So I got to take 3 now. But how do I compensate the fact that I fucked it up already yesterday?
Just take it. Start today. Don't try to. Start today and move forward from today.
Yeah.
And by the way, so people are saying
3 times a day.
But do you only have 3 times a day? Do you only have 18 pills?
No, I got like 45.
Oh, okay. So you can do it. Okay.
By the way, people are saying you might need to break out your sad Vato clown shirt every day until you're feeling it.
I'm a very sad Vato clown, even though like everyone's telling me to stay positive. It's like it feels physically impossible to stay positive right now. And like I said, everything is coming through a very negative lens. Like everything I'm looking at is just doesn't seem right, and it's really frustrating. It's really aggravating. And I'm always saying that to give the play-by-play. Like I said, dude, in the grand scheme of things, I lucked out big time. So I'm not trying to say woe is me. I'm not the first to have it. I just still don't feel that great, but got to get into the swing of it and just got to keep moving forward. And that's really it. It's just a play-by-play, man. I'm
into the swing of it.
Yeah. So that's it, man. I'm happy to be back. Thanks to everybody for all their patience, for all their support, all the comments, all the kind words. Handsome Gabe and his Covathon. Anyone that suffered through this shit, like way worse than I could possibly imagine. I don't know how you did it.
I saw
I'm back.
I saw a meme or a quote or something. It's like, just because other people had something worse or went through something worse than you did, it doesn't minimize.
Yeah, your problems are still your problems.
You went through. It doesn't minimize your own personal trauma. So you can acknowledge that you went through a lot. You don't have to compare yourselves to others. You went through a lot.
Fortunate people still have things that annoy them. In fact, today I want to talk about Will Smith and how much of a maniac I think this guy might be. I thought, you think a guy like Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, one of the biggest stars of our lifetime.
All successful.
You don't want to hear about my roommate at the hospital?
I would love to hear about your roommate at the hospital.
I'm just saying that
all successful people are nutcases.
Dude, everyone's a fucking nutcase.
Successful people are going based off their personal trauma. That's what makes them so great.
Some of the stuff that has come out of Will Smith's book, we just have to touch on later because
look at Keanu.
It paints a picture. It paints a picture of this guy that we all thought was like hardest working man in show business. Fucking handsome, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, movie star, action star. Some of the things you'll find out in his book, which I did not read, I'm just reading the excerpts, we'll get to, and it's fucking wild how people that you think have everything figured out do not. Look at fucking what Aaron Rodgers is going through. Look at what Dave Portnoy is going through. There's people that are in a way more fucking compromising spot on a daily basis. So I know it's not easy to feel that way now, but in the big picture, you're on the up and up,
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just letting you know what I'm currently going through. Like, you get home after being in the hospital for 6 days and you're like, this sucks. Everything sucks about it.
You're already looking at your grout.
Yeah, exactly. You're just noticing you fixate on everything that's bad and everything that's negative. And like I said, I do feel better though today than I did yesterday. So I guess it's just part of the process and part of the medication and just everything going through your system. And I've been pumped up with steroids and oxygen and medicine for the past few days. But
once you feel better, you got to say, hey, listen, now you're good for quite a long time where you don't have to worry about any of this.
Like I was like, I didn't know when my fog was going away. You're in the fog phase. I went through the fog phase all last week. My first week I was in misery. The fog phase all last week. Like my body felt better.
Did you say la fog phase?
The fog phase.
Oh, I thought you said like la fog.
My body was feeling better, but like my head was just in this giant fog and like nothing. I couldn't see straight. I was driving to work with my eyes blurry. It's like,
it's the best way to describe it, Spot, except my fog also includes like I said, a negative lens of like, remember in the show True Blood when like they're running out of like their powers and like everything's just negative and terrible. Like, you remember that blur they would deal with if they didn't have their True Blood
when they were off
like,
V?
Yeah, like I'm so off. I'm like Francis.
Well, you're taking 3 tabs of V 3 times a day, right? So you should be good. Yeah. You're back. Yeah. By the way, I had a question before you tell us about your crazy roommate at the hospital. I never even asked you, did my dad call you? He asked for your number and he's like, I want to call Steve and try to cheer him up in some capacity. My dad doesn't necessarily always have the bedside manner to cheer people up. I was like, all right, here's Steve's number. Did he ever call you?
It was nice to hear from your dad. Yeah, he did. He called me up.
He did.
We had a nice chat. I guess we talked about how it does, affect everybody differently. He's like, I can't believe that of me, of all people, it knocked on my ass the way it did.
Yeah.
And I would have never expected that. but it happened, and was feeling better when he called.
Zush,
so I appreciate that.
Zush wants to know: is this the sickest you ever felt in your life?
I don't know. I think so. Yeah, I don't think
even worse than
anything else. And I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only thing you could probably compare it to is those times where Covino, where you just had like a terrible flu or like a stomach virus where you're leaning over a toilet bowl for days in a row. But this is the longer term worst you probably felt, right?
And it was boring as could be. Like just being in the hospital. It's just mentally challenging and exhausting. And again, I don't want to sound like the guy who just keeps complaining. I really, really don't. Because again, people have died, people have had it worse. And I know my experience is all that really matters, like you said, Spot, but it could be a lot worse. So I am happy to get on the right track and just move past this shit eventually and just hopefully start feeling like myself again. But that brain fog that Spot speaks of is very, very real. So yeah, I got moved around hospital rooms a few times, and I ended up in a room with this fucking guy. And
you have a new friend?
God bless him, but like I'd never seen, if there's any comic relief at all, and don't expect much because
this is typical you.
Somehow I lost my personality or my sense of humor.
I'm hoping
to get it back. There was this guy I shared a room with, and I was so aggravated that they moved some guy into my room. Because first they moved me, and then they moved some guy into my room.
Were you solo most of the time?
Yeah, the first I was in there for 7 days.
Right.
So the first 4 days I was by myself in a little room. Then they moved me into a big room, and they moved some guy in there, and I swear to God, if there's any semblance of funny still left in me, when you just hear a guy talking and you can only imagine what he looks like because there's a curtain there.
It was almost like a fun little game show you were playing with yourself. Like, let me see if I can picture what this guy looks like.
First of all, here I am, recovering from the COVID, and this guy comes in hocking up a whole new lung. I know I can't get more COVID, but it's I think I'm trying to stay sanitary here and get better. And this guy's fucking bringing all his brand new sick into the room. So it's oh my God, this is a nightmare.
Well, they wouldn't.
And then he's just the loudest Hispanic guy you've ever heard in your life, dude.
He had the Barrio variant, right?
Was he on the phone the entire time? Was he one of those people?
Yes, Spot. You got, let's see if I could send this to you, man. Oh shit!
If it's audio, you can send it to me.
I have audio.
Yeah, send it to me.
Should I try to do it? Yes. I don't know if
I can get it. Send it to me.
Yeah.
You know what? I texted it to Jordan's Spot. If you want to see if you could text Jordan, can you get that audio from his bedroom? Because that'll save the camera time here.
Yeah.
But this guy was so obnoxiously loud, and meanwhile, people are suffering there, right? This guy, he was suffering too, though. But he had no regard at all of let me cover my mouth or let me chill out. The guy was just coughing and dying. I felt like he was dying next to me. And I was so curious to eventually see what he looked like. Yo, when I tell you, like I said, the only funny thing that I've seen in 2 weeks was I finally got a glimpse of this guy. After hearing, I'm a pee-pee. The guy, I think the guy peed on himself several times.
How old is he?
Pee-pee.
Yeah, because we're peeing in pee bottles, right? I think he spilled it all over himself a few times.
Ay, Dios mío, pee-pee all over me.
Pee-pee.
Ay,
pee-pee. I'm like, what is this guy was again, hocking up things that I couldn't even fathom at my sickest. What is going on with this guy? Dude, I finally see this guy. When I tell you I've never seen anything like this, his head was the size of the twin size bed. His head took up. It's the only funny thing, honestly, that I'd seen the whole week.
He was a big melon head.
Yo, I'd never seen a guy, and he sounded he sounded like he had a big fat, my name is Nelson Cortez. My pee-pee.
Mi
Ah,
Ay,
my
Dios.
pee-pee. Nelson Cortez. Right? So all I kept hearing is this guy fucking with his obnoxious shit, talking the whole time, never shutting up. And then I finally see him after like days later, because I did not want to see him. I didn't take a shit for 3 days because I didn't want to cross over into his area. There was no shower. I hadn't showered for a week. I hadn't showered for a week. No shower in the hospital. Right? I finally see this guy. I've never seen a monstrous head. It was like a Minecraft character.
Move.
His head took up the entire top of the twin size bed. His head was the biggest head I've ever seen in my life. And it was everything I could imagine, hearing him say, my pee-pee. Ay, Dios míos, my pee-pee.
Was he a big dude or did he have like a fucking noggin on a stick?
No, he was just some Hispanic guy with the biggest fucking head I've ever seen in my life. And it honestly scared me because it's like, you know, people's heads, they get big. Like you see Joe Rogan's head.
It's got a mondo head.
Yeah, like people when they get older, men especially, their nose, their eyes, their ears, they continue to grow. Not their eyes, but their nose and their ears. And then like a lot of times someone's head gets really big. This guy's head, he was the head detective, man. I can't believe how fucking big his head was.
I think Rogan and Barry Bonds have the same reason why their heads are big. Isn't it?
Well,
All right, when
no, I just think a lot of times-
when you take steroids, doesn't it make your head big?
No, it's not just that though. When you get older, like your head, your face gets big. I don't know, you gain weight in your face. Like I feel like I've seen, you know, signs of that. And I'm like, fuck that. You know, you got to pull back a little bit. But like this guy's head was gigantic.
His head is like Sputnik.
He was unbearable. Unbearable. I had to live with this guy for 4 days. 4 days talking about his pee-pee.
Do you guys now follow each other on social media? You guys buds?
No, not at all, man. I couldn't get, you know, further away from the guy. I couldn't wait to get out. And here I am. But let's get in. There's lots of stories to get into, Rich, that I need to catch up on.
Jordan sent me a video, but it's just music.
Yeah, like this is what like he was playing, because we had to share a TV. We had to share a bathroom. I didn't take a shit for at least 4 days. I didn't shower for over a week. And I had to listen to this guy. Listen to this bullshit he was playing.
You didn't take a shit for 4 days?
I didn't take a shit. I don't think took a shit.
You're going to take the most massive explosive.
You hear that?
What the fuck is he listening to?
Yeah, what Nelson Cortez is listening to. That's what I got to listen to.
Persian or was he?
No, he's like Hispanic guy. Like, beep.
So if you didn't shit for 4 days, did they give you like Colace or any sort of stool softener to make you go? Because as far as I understand, they won't let you leave the hospital until you shit.
I mean, no. I mean, where was I going to shit? With this guy next to me? Get out of here.
In a pan. So no poop in a pan?
No. I peed a lot in the Peebo. But, you know, like I said, I lost. You know what else I lost, man? My sex drive. I haven't felt.
Oh, tell me about your flaccid penis, because mine was like this for a week and a half.
I feel like my penis is like non-existent.
Did you lose girth too? Maybe is that a side effect? Like
it was like you touch it and it like you could crumple it up into a ball, right? You could crumple your ball into your penis. Your penis into a ball.
Like I lost.
It was just there was nothing there.
There's no penis, a little nub. I got a little outy belly button sticking out of my
I just
pants.
had a little flaccid dangler. Right? It was just like it was so spongy I could barely hold it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how I have zero sex drive, zero appetite,
sense of humor
zero
gone,
personality, and the funniest thing I could bring to the table was how giant this guy's head was. That's really, honestly, it's the only thing that made me feel good. Because when I'm dying there, I'm like, well, at least my head don't look like that guy's head.
Man,
yeah. I will say the one positive of where I went was in the hospital. It was private rooms, and you didn't have to ask for it. It was just, every room was single. I can't imagine like going through anything and having to share a room with someone.
Well, you're a class act, Covino. That's from Andrew. He said you hate this guy, but you still won't shit around him. Like you still maintain some consideration, or you just felt uncomfortable.
I mean, I didn't feel very comfortable taking a shit while this guy's laying right there, you know, and he was definitely in bad shape. And his wife was also in the hospital, and he was playing his stupid music, and we're battling over what we're going to watch on TV. And, I was still able to watch the Canelo fight. That was kind of cool. I have observations on that, but I just don't feel like I care much about anything right now, to be honest.
Well,
so I'm excited. I'm excited to hear about Portnoy. And did you even mention Cal Penn's book? Because that was big in the news
we
too.
mentioned how on our show he came out, and then we, out of consideration, like a decade ago, fucking pulled the clip out of respect for him. And here a decade later he comes out. We did mention that.
Oh, okay. Because I remember I asked. The reason was I asked him. I said, "Hey, how come you never linked up romantically with anybody?" And he talked about his partner, and then he asked us if we can cut it out. And he said it was wild. He goes, being an Indian guy in Hollywood, no one even ever asked him that question. He said I was the first guy to ever ask him that question.
Yeah, he's like, not that I'm hiding it. It just no one seems to be interested in the Indian guy's love life.
Yep. It
was very
interesting. Sorry to transition, but I know there's lots of books.
You transition too?
I might as well, man. My penis is non-existent. So I know there's a lot of books in the news. Cal Penn to Will Smith, to Dave Portnoy in the news, to random football, and that game last night was a bit of a nail biter. So there's lots to get to in the world of sports and entertainment. Happy to be back, guys. Thanks for all the well wishes. It was honestly overwhelming, the amount of feedback I got. A lot of the feedback is very random too. It's like, I'm sitting here really trying to recover, and people are sending me pictures of their Captain Crunch for breakfast. So a lot of it's very random. I know it's coming from a good place, but I appreciate all you guys. And
Vic in Toronto did not cease to send you dumb messages all day.
No, yeah, he didn't. He really didn't.
I love it.
But I love all you guys. I really do. And I appreciate your patience with me while I dealt with this. I would have never expected to be floored the way I was. So, thanks, guys. Let's carry on.
Yeah, we'll get into a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to think of. You said something that I didn't know if. Does everyone know this fun fact? You know how you said a dude's ears and nose grow as they get older? In fact, probably now our noses and ears are bigger than when we were like 20.
It's fact. The only thing that remains the same is your eyeballs.
That's the fun
child.
fact. I was going to say that's. I did not know that. I think until the last couple years, where someone said, "Yeah, your baby's got big eyes," and someone's like, "Well, that's because your eyeballs never change their size."
Yeah, you're born with the eyeballs you got, and then you sort of your head grows around it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems obvious now that you think about it, but your eyes are the only part of your body that doesn't grow, adjust. You lose your teeth, your penis, your tongue, your head, everything about your body grows or changes, except your eyeballs. Your two fucking eyeballs are the same size from the minute you're born.
Shut up.
Until the minute you die.
I didn't know that.
Spot, the fact that you didn't know it makes me feel better, because I thought that was one of those fun facts I just didn't know.
Really?
Well, that's why when little kids, look at Ben. Ben's got those big blue eyes. They're not changing size. His big fucking body is going to grow around that. Then he'll have normal size eyes.
That doesn't make sense to me.
You ever hear Bert Kreischer talk about how different he looked when he was younger because his mouth was so fucking big? Like his mouth was gigantic.
Yeah, I was like,
his big fat face filled out, it sort of balanced out a little bit. Because a lot of times, again, your head continues to grow too.
Well,
and
as
that
you
scares me.
you always,
as a guy.
I'm sorry, you always say that I got the long, skinny head. When I was younger, it was longer and skinnier.
Yeah, but yours is filling out more appropriate, which is good for you, considering you had a skinny head. Like growing up, my family magnified a lot of I don't know, like we talk about how they magnify feet and how gross feet are, right? Yeah. Everybody had a giant head. Like everybody made fun of someone's head in my family. I don't know if it's a Mexican thing or just giant cabezas, and just everything was fixated on how big my Uncle Angel's head was, or how big Uncle, Manny's head was, or any cousin Christian's head. Everybody fixated on everybody's head.
Your buddy in school, Bunk.
Yeah, they called me Big Head my whole life growing up. My Uncle Joe, and what a big head I had. And everyone had a big head, and it just became such a thing. growing up thinking that my head could fucking continue to grow and explode the way I saw this guy at the hospital's head, it frightens the fuck out of me. He looked like, I swear to God, like a Minecraft character, like a big, gigantic square head, like Mr. Fredrickson.
Big ass head.
From Up. Yep. So that's one of my fears. And, I hope it doesn't happen to me.
Yeah.
But let's get into it, man. Dave Portnoy, Cal Penn, Will Smith, football, whatever you want to get into.
Oh, you know what? I sent Spot a video this morning. We'll have some fun today. We'll try to day by day have you get your sense of humor back. I feel like there's a movie about that. Like day by day, someone's trying to become their old self again. What was it?
I'm sure there's a lot of movies like that. It's just
no, but it's like a comedy, it's like a dumb comedy. Is it Anchorman where Will Ferrell forgets how to like be a news reporter or something? They have to train him. Anyway, last night, Monday Night Football. I really didn't watch much, I'll be honest. I feel like I lucked out. I turned the game on in the fourth quarter, and I got to watch like the ending and when it was close. So I was like, all right, cool. I lucked out.
I watched the whole thing. Justin Fields is, he's on an upward trajectory. He's not plateauing by any means. He's growing with every game and every play, and you see his confidence grow as the game went on yesterday. But it was a nail biter. But like I said, when you're feeling the way I feel, like, you just don't care that much.
No, I understand.
Hello, Steve. It's time for more oxygen.
Whoa.
Exactly. When I got to deal with this fucking thing, it's hard to concentrate on the game.
I'm waiting for you.
My droid.
I'm glad Tony.
You are looking bulbous.
I'm glad Tony Correnti was brought up. Thank you, Cubs fan, because that's the one thing I wanted to talk about. There was one play in this relatively boring until the fourth quarter game, Bears-Steelers last night. There is a call where Tony Correnti, the NFL official, calls a taunting 15-yard, what would have been fourth and fucking 20-something, becomes a first down for the Steelers because this guy was taunting? Yo, this is the lamest shit in the history of football. You talk about like, oh, that's a late hit.
Not only that, is he was reprimanded by his coaching staff. He was made to look like he did something wrong. Like, meanwhile, the guy is like, he did nothing at all wrong. He sacked Ben Roethlisberger and then gets penalized for it. And then, it was probably the worst call I think I've seen in years.
You guys lied to me.
Your eyes grow over your lifetime?
You guys fucking lied to me. Why do I believe you?
I was told.
Why do I believe you?
That's what I was told.
By who?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan? I was going to say Joe Rogan. You guys are dumb.
Joe Rogan told me. He said, your eyes, yeah.
This is why you should always fact check things you see on the internet.
It's my Joe Rogan, Aaron Rodgers blog.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
Dumb.
Man.
Hey, by the way, don't you think that Max Kellerman has the same stupid look as Aaron Rodgers? How come I never put that together?
Like as Ellen. They have the same look as Ellen. It's like light eyes, heavy light eyes, like heavy, deep, heavy eyes.
Max Kellerman put a hobo hat on and just like looked disheveled. You don't think he could pull off like Aaron Rodgers?
That's why Pete Davidson did a good Aaron Rodgers on SNL. If you got deep, like almost like tired eyes, but they're light, it's a specific look. That's why Ellen and Aaron Rodgers. I remember my dad said that years ago, and I feel like it caught on after my dad said it. Not that he was the one, but years ago, my dad's like, Aaron Rodgers looks like Ellen DeGeneres to me. And I'm like, you know what? He fucking does. It's that look.
He's getting buried in the news too, man. Jeez.
So we'll get to Aaron Rodgers. We'll get to everybody, but the play last night, just to wrap it up, there was one play that sort of changed the game. It was called taunting. Now, this guy made a terrific play. Keep in mind, this guy's off the practice squad, gets called up to the NFL.
Well, he was on the Steelers practice squad, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So here's a guy that makes the biggest play of his probably young career. 3rd and long, sacks Rodgers. Spot, if you want to show the play. And then they call this taunting, which when you really think about it, looking at the sideline that's not yours is taunting.
Well, hold on.
Get
First
the fuck
off,
out of here.
I got to say, at first, I thought they were talking about the karate kick that he delivered after he sacked Ben Roethlisberger.
No, that's a legal celebration, which is funny because that's fine.
Yeah, but that's what I thought they were complaining about at first. But he bumps the ref and looks at the sideline, and they throw a flag on him. It's just totally ridiculous, and it changed the trajectory of the game at the moment.
No doubt. Look, the guy, Spot, watch this play if you didn't see it.
Wow is right. I don't know, because the punter was running out, whether the official thought, but he wasn't even looking at the punter. He was looking at the sideline. He wasn't looking at the punter. He wasn't talking to the punter. I mean, I understand the respect of the game. Like, he's looking at
Number
the bench.
59. He's just looking that way, turns around, and goes to the sideline.
No, he's definitely not. Nope. Oh, my goodness.
15-yard penalty, first down.
For that?
Yeah.
For just looking.
Yep.
For looking and giving like a swaggy look. Like, yeah, what?
And because he was all pumped up, everyone assumes that he must have did something. And like his teammates are like yelling at him, his coaching staff's yelling at him. Confused. Meanwhile, he did nothing wrong at all whatsoever. And yeah, again,
now
it works to the Steelers' advantage and changes everything.
If you play the next clip, Spot, I sent you 3 in a row because then people were saying like, all right, so that's a 15-yard penalty, but this is okay. Well, look at the difference of what's legal and not. When a team has a turnover, they're all about to run into the end zone together and pose and fucking have shenanigans. That's okay. But what he did is a 15-yard game-changing penalty. Look at this.
At the top or the bottom?
Yeah, both. It's both spots. The top is legal, but the bottom's not. Watch.
Okay, I gotta see if I gotta fit this in the screen. Hang on.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah. So the top is legal. The bottom is illegal. Yeah.
Already leaves the NFL and batted down passes, and now he has the interception, and they'll celebrate the
So the top, the whole team sliding and fucking making a scene. That's fine. But a guy actually just staring at the opposing sideline, 15-yard penalty, game changer.
I'm so confused.
Well, that was an interception on top. Justin Fields threw it right into the fat lineman's hands.
Yeah,
and they celebrate like that. Nothing happens. Meanwhile, this guy Marsh makes a nice sack. In a crucial moment in the game, does nothing. They throw the flag, 15-yard penalty.
I agree.
The whole thing. It was so dumb.
I agree with Lonnie. He goes, the ref needs to be reprimanded for that. There needs to be some type of repercussion. That's a game-changing, shitty decision. And
absolutely. And it could have cost them the game.
The funny part about it is that after the game, you actually got to meet this guy, the dude that made the sack. He looks like someone off of like some Warlock show. Look at this dude.
He looks handsome.
Looks handsome. Play the post game of what's his name again?
Cassius Marsh. Cassius
yeah.
Wait, hold on. Cassius Marsh. What a name. That's hard to say.
The one thing that I will say is, on my way to the sideline, I got hip checked by the ref, and it's pretty clear. If I were to do that to a ref or even touch the ref, we get kicked out of the game and possibly suspended and fined. So I just think that was incredibly inappropriate.
That's the other angle of this, by the way.
That's all I'll say.
And by the way, that's not Brian and Kokomo, Matt.
Jesus, look at this guy.
Yo, when he's leaving the field, you don't need to find this thing. The referee leans into
him.
The
Birdman claw. Remember the Birdman?
Yes.
In the NBA on the
Of
Hawks?
course, yes, of course. It's wild because when he's going to the sidelines, you do see the referee sort of give him a little like hip check. And you're thinking to yourself, yo, is this guy for real? Like the referee blew the call, then he was rude. Like that guy needs to be reprimanded. That guy does look like the guy that stormed the Capitol.
He kind of does. Hold on.
Yeah. The referee bumps him. Look at this, Covino, if you missed this part.
Was directing.
Here, watch this again.
No, he's already reaching.
Goes
was directing.
Here, watch this again.
No, he's already reaching.
No, bumped him. Fucking ref.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit move. It really is. It's like, stay the fuck out of the game, man.
Yeah.
No one cares. No one's there to see your bullshit calls.
Yeah, it's when you know that, what I always say, Covino, when you know the umpire or ref's name or he's a part of the game, that just means something went wrong. They're not doing their job because the best referee or umpire is unknown and not seen. The only referee that's known for another reason is Ed Hockey League because he has muscles.
That's it. But yeah, it was a battle for sure. And the Bears came back at the end. That didn't help the case for them. But the Steelers win, and that was it, man. I watched it. It was exciting, I guess, at the end.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes, much like an NBA game, if you turn it on at the end and it's close, you feel like you really didn't miss much, and you're like, oh, good, perfect timing.
Yeah.
Close game, fourth quarter, I missed nothing. I could watch highlights later. Something else I watched last night, I wonder if you watched in your boredom and fog, Covino.
By the way, Rich, can I just say that the overwhelming feeling of boredom is like, honestly, I've never felt anything like it. I'm like, there's got to be more to life than this. This is horrible.
There were people that were speculating that you were going to start watching This Is Us and Backstrom and all the show. Like you were so bored you were about to watch my TV shows.
I can't even get into the shows that I want to get into because they seem so meaningless and, like I said, foggy and boring to me that, like, I can't stay up to watch you, Joe Goldberg, and you. Well, and I'm like, I want to watch this show.
Then there's trouble looming for you, and I'll tell you why. Because I finished You season 3, and then
maybe that just means the show sucks.
No, and then last night I watched the season premiere of Dexter.
Okay,
and it was episode 1, so I'm not gonna overthink it. But it seemed very slow and boring. And I wanted to love it because I fucking love Dexter. But
you know what wasn't slow and boring?
Joe Goldberg and
Yellowstone
was a great, that premiered this weekend.
Brought it.
Well,
on its return.
Midnight Mass is the best show I've seen in weeks.
That's true. Yeah.
I haven't heard anyone talk about it. I mean, not that I won't give it a shot, but you're the only one I've heard talk about it. So if it's good, you're getting full credit in my book.
Like when I was convalescing, I watched Ted Lasso, and Ted Lasso brought me joy. So I think if the show's really good, I think it'll push through.
That's news to Covino. He wasn't here when you made that admission. Spot watched Ted Lasso and loved it.
Yeah, I texted you.
He texted me. Yeah, I was happy. He enjoyed it.
So I think you need something to push through the misery, and you haven't found it yet. So that just means the show isn't good enough.
I'm telling you, Covino, if you're in that smooth, in that fog, I wouldn't even attempt Dexter. I'm telling you, it was like dark and slow. And all I'll say is this without giving anything away, because I don't want, people will say I'm spoiling it, even though I'm just saying this.
Did Dexter's head get bigger?
It did. He looks funnier. I went back to watch the finale to remind myself, like, what happened? Oh, that's right. His sister died. And
he was rooming with you.
Yeah. And then I was like, what else happened?
It makes me sad when our heroes' heads get bigger.
When you remember what happened at the end of Dexter. He had like blondish brown hair, wearing his his beachy shirt. He was in Miami. He looks funny. And let's just say the first episode's 50 minutes. Not until the last 5 minutes do you hear him even doing the Dexter internal monologue, because let's just say Dexter doesn't come out for the whole first fucking 45 minutes of the show. So it's like a lot of boring setup. Like, all right, we get it. He lives in this small town. All right, there's the guy that works at the hardware store. There's the guy that works here. All right, you wait, and then it's like, all right, 5 minutes of Dexter at the end of episode 1.
Dexter.
Maybe it gets great, but my feeling was Joe Goldberg up here, Dexter down here, as far as like what I've been vibing lately.
Okay, all right.
That's all. Now, Dexter, slow. Yeah. You tell me, Covino, since we're trying to get you out of your fog, what do you rather talk about?
Cheeks.
Will Smith, Portnoy, having sex in random places.
Want to say hi to Mark in Colorado?
Yeah, let's say hi to Mark in Colorado. Why not?
He probably wants to welcome
Take some
Covino
phone
back.
calls, 412-267-7469. It's my big triumphant return. I appreciate, like I said, people are like, oh, he's coming back. It's going to take a minute, guys, before I start feeling normal, I could tell. So please bear with me. I appreciate it.
You're easing into
it.
I like
I am happy to be back. But let's get to the phone calls. Let's get going. 412-267-7469, Covino and Rich.
Are you like a guy coming off the DL? Are you on a pitch count? Or are you like slowly like, you're going to go 0 for 3 here and there and just finally get your groove back?
Well, I still don't even have my voice under me yet. Like I feel like I'm going to cough at any second. So like that. Exactly.
Is that Mark?
What's up, Mark?
Hi, Mark.
Hey, I just wanted to welcome Covino back.
Thanks, buddy.
Also, You need to watch your brother and J-Rock.
I did. I saw it. It was great.
Yeah, they were great. Everyone that helped and everyone that filled in and had cameos. Nicole, Mark Zito, our buddies from Fox Sports that were sort of co-hosting with me on Sunday. Anyone that helped out, we do appreciate. But Covino's back again, and thank you, Mark in Colorado.
Thanks, buddy.
Later, buddy. Matt Ellis just saying, happy you're back. Let's see. Anyone else feel the same way about Dexter? I'm curious if anyone else watching and thought, you fucking love the show, but the episode 1, you know how like it was sort of anticipated too, because you're like, ooh, in the works. They haven't done a new episode in 8 years. What are they going to bring?
But if you tie everything together, it's like sometimes your mood plays a big part in how you feel about things. Because I did hear some positive things about Dexter, and even the show like I can't wrap my head around it. I'm falling asleep watching it. Meanwhile, Jordan's like digging it, So your mood and where you are mentally and how you're feeling definitely plays a major factor a lot of times in these things. So,
no doubt.
You can't say it sucks, or I can't say it sucks yet because I'm just not even in a mental space to appreciate much right now.
2 things I'm also going to watch. My buddy gave me his password, so I'm not going to argue it. I was like, yeah, I feel like watching stuff. He goes, yeah, take my password. I was like, you sure? Then I felt weird, but I was like, well, I'm not going to. If I was going to order it anyway, and he's like, here's my password. So my buddy Matt's like, here's my password for HBO. I watched the first 3 episodes of Curb, the new season. Larry David and JB Smoove. That might be what Steve Covino needs.
One of the best comedy duos of recent history.
Jeff Garlin, everything about Larry David. If you don't vibe with his fucking obnoxious ways and just the great observational shit Larry David does, I don't know, man. I feel like then it amazes me that you love this show and you support us, because I feel like, not that we're like Larry David, but to me, his style of humor is just so observational and stupid. Very similar to Covino observational style. One thing when I'm functioning at least functioning at 70%. Yeah, there were 2. I mean, there's a lot of observations from Curb, but one thing that there's 2 observations. I don't want to give away plot lines. People get all butthurt, but they're just 2 observations from the first 3 episodes. Number 1 is when you feel like you're the bad guy, just for asking for something you're entitled to. Does that make sense? Like, let's just say someone owed you money or you need to go pick up something. When there's no wrong, like, Covino, let's say you lend someone $5,000 and it seems like they forgot about it. And you were like, hey, dude, just reminding you, that $5,000 you lent me? And then the person makes it feel like you're a dick for asking them, like, all right, you'll get your money back. And you're like, yo, I'm not the bad guy here. Larry does a whole thing about, like, why am I the bad guy? Mm-hmm. When I'm really just asking for something back that I did you a favor for. Like, hey, could I, I lent you my lawnmower. All right, relax, you'll get it back. It's like, no, like I'm not the bad guy here. You borrowed my lawnmower. Like, why are you making it seem like I'm the dick? And I thought, Larry David's good at that. In a very like, I'm not the bad guy. I'm not like his whole, I'm not the bad guy. I thought was great. And yeah, I'm not the asshole was fucking fantastic. And there was a theory in one of the episodes that it wasn't the plot line. So again, I'm not giving anything away. When you are at a dinner party or an event, let's say you go out to dinner, Covino, and there's, let's say, 6 or 8 people at the table. Do you feel like you need to position the conversation carriers in the middle? It was a really funny thing. Like, if the wrong people sit in the middle, the fucking dinner sucks. Like, you need to assign, like, you got to put Larry David in the middle because he could complain or talk about anything. If you put the dud in the middle and the talkative people at the ends of the table, it becomes a quiet, boring-ass dinner. Have you ever thought about that? Like when we all sit down for like Mexican
I think
food,
everybody thinks about it when they take position at the table, 100%. Like a lot of times I do want to sit at the end because I don't want to be feeling the pressure of having to deal with conversation if I don't want to sometimes.
No, but I'm saying
sometimes I like to chill.
If you're getting together with a bunch of people and you know who the chatty, fun people are, they can't be put at the very end of the table because their sort of role in your group is to perpetuate the conversation. Like if you put, like, think of your most quiet friend. If your quiet friend that's really to himself, you can't put that guy in the middle of the table. Tony Moriello says, I agree. 100% agree that conversation starters.
But on the flip side, you can't assume that everyone wants to hear you talk all day because it's just not a fact.
Agreed, but they do a great job demonstrating what happens when you put the charismatic people on the outskirts and the dud in the middle. It's just sort of like a quiet, boring dinner. Like you need the quote Larry David type or Funkhousers.
You do. I get it. I'm definitely not debating that, but I'm saying for like a guy like, let's use Spot, for example. You don't think he wants to get a word in every once in a while, but just because he doesn't assume that role, like he never gets a chance to. Because
Spot's personality filled. Spot could be a middle, as they say.
But there's a lot of times that the people don't get their opportunity to talk because that other person thinks it's their like role as the crew member to just keep the conversation going when half the time it's just hot air.
Like when we go out for a steak dinner with all our old school radio buds, it's abundantly clear which people are the engagers and which people are the ones that like sit back and they laugh and chill. The person that sits back, laughs and chills and doesn't want to be the topic starter, sitting in the middle is just it's a waste. It's a waste, but it's you'll love it. I'm telling you, if there's anything that might get you out of your funk, knowing your sense of humor, if you don't have HBO, I'll throw you the password and watch there's 3 episodes and they're all funny enough where I think you are definitely gonna laugh. Sarah just hit me up. She goes, Spot is absolutely a middle. She goes, Spot's a good conversation guy to put in the middle if we were all having like a dinner. Because Spot could sort of talk about everything with everyone. If you put the quietest person in the middle, it is what, that's what you have to do.
You have to understand if that guy the guy who's normally in the middle, if he's not there, someone will usually step up. You know what I mean? The outskirt guy will step up and have a normal conversation and have a good time.
But then
he's not in position to do so because the other dude is trying to alpha the conversation.
Well, based on that episode, it also becomes a thing where do you then sort of want that person at a lot of events because you just know that they're an icebreaker? Like if you are having
it's better than a dud. I'm not debating the dud by any means.
And I'm not saying I'm Rich Davis and I'm the ultimate middle conversation guy. But you've even said like in business meetings, it's always nice to know that I'll never shut up if you need me to talk. Like if you're
but it's about knowing when to shut up.
Yeah. That's
you know what I mean?
That's where most people don't know, and sometimes I don't know. I put Spot in the middle. Yeah, Spot's a good middle person. Cub says I'm a power bottom. That's a different conversation. But yeah, that was something that I think, Covino, you will absolutely enjoy if you're having a trouble feeling yourself and getting a laugh.
A show minus Funkhauser is going to get me out of my funk?
Well, Funkhauser's brother is now a character. Vince Vaughn, plays his brother.
No.
Vince Vaughn is a Funkhauser.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't know that, yeah.
You get some Vince Vaughn and Larry David back and forth, and Vince Vaughn's vibe, like them together. It's actually pretty funny, but you do miss the Funkhauser. Let's see, a facilitator, so to speak. Sam Sanchez says, Rich Davis is a power middle. Power middle.
I think I'm a power middle after this whole sickness. I don't know if I'll ever be the same again.
Just not the same. It's
not the same. I feel like came out different.
By the way, I wanted to bring something up today that is sort of a bummer. I'll wait for Spot to be back. I think Spot's taking a number 3.
My BB.
There's a listener of ours that passed away, and I hate to be the guy that brings up bad news, but his friends and family reached out, and it's honestly, did you see the message? It's like awful on every level.
No. Who? This
guy,
is terrible.
Yeah, a guy that
Again, perspective shift.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Maybe it is. Something we also need perspective, right? Guy named Brandon Grantham. Last name Grantham. Now, Brandon was a guy that listened to our show every day. Jeez. And he was a big fan of ours. He turned his friends onto our show. He got his friends to listen to us. People hit us up saying, yo, this guy Brandon was such a great guy. He turned me onto your show. He's been with you guys for years. And even his son reached out to us.
Oh, my God.
And said, my dad loved you guys. Every day I would go into his truck and I would hear you guys talking. He enjoyed y'all very much. A couple days ago, he unfortunately died in a car crash. And I just wanted you to know he adored you. He was always in his truck for work, and you guys were a big part of his life. So I wanted to thank you very much.
Man, that's terrible news. I'm sorry to hear about that.
And I looked up the story, and I reached out to his family to, send our condolences. He was a passenger in an Uber where another car went through a red light and hit his Uber. And two people in the Uber were rushed to the hospital, and he passed away. He's got kids, 38 years old. Rest in peace, Brandon Grantham. It's a terrible story. And like you said, a perspective shifter, right?
Oh, for sure, man. That's horrible. I'm very sorry to hear that.
And I told his son that, listen, kid, your dad was super proud of you, because I went on his social media page. We were Facebook friends, this guy. And I had recently scrolled through and saw that he put highlights of his son's football games up. Like, he put together a highlight reel of his son, saying how proud he was of watching his son play football. And again, just perspective and a terrible, sad story. Brandon, rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah, sorry to hear about that, man. That's really, really tough. And I guess we just got to send our prayers and thoughts to all the family members out there and honor Brandon's life and share a few laughs and stop bitching so much. So
yeah,
sorry to hear about that.
Man, it's terrible. So I just want to throw that out there. I know how do you shift from that to something else, but I wanted to make sure he got the proper love, because he, we were part of his day, and lost his life in a terrible way. So rest in peace, Brandon. Now, Spot, to lighten the mood.
Hey.
Do you take a number 3?
No, I had a phone call.
Oh. Who was it?
The state of California.
Are they asking about your extended warranty?
Yes.
There's a video of, this is a couple weeks ago, Covino, but like I said, the last couple weeks have been a blur and crazy for us, right? Mostly, obviously, you. You know that video of the Amazon driver that got fired because there's video of a girl hopping out the back of it like he fucked her at the back of the Amazon truck?
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Spot, can you play that video just to give people perspective? It's like a week and a half old, but this guy got in trouble. This thing made the fucking rounds.
You sent it to me, right?
Yeah. There's a link that goes to TMZ. It's if you go to social media anywhere.
TMZ, okay.
Yeah. It's Amazon driver. You see this girl like fixing her fucking dress, hops out of the back of the Amazon delivery truck, and everyone's like, yo, they just got it on in the back of the truck. I mean, it was everywhere, but here's the TMZ one. The Prime truck. You see her fucking sneak out. The dude's like, all right, have a good day now. She scampers off after getting the Dickens.
Atta girl. Did they know each other?
Dude, I don't know. He delivered his package all right.
That's what I'm curious about. Did they know each other, or was it just like, hey, here's your package. Hey, you're pretty hot. Let's fuck.
You know, things
like that don't happen to me.
It reminded me of the idea of, have you ever had van love? And I only asked that because Covino is the van driver. I worked in radio and did promotions as well, much like Covino early on, where, you know, I rode to events in vans and hung banners and did all that shit for years. And then I wonder, if I did that for years and you did that for years, and Spot even drove the station vehicle, I'm sure, time to time, or went with Nico and the guys to like these broadcasts.
I've never driven it, though.
I want you to think about it for 10 seconds while I go pee. And I want to know from anyone.
You're going to drop a bomb like, have you ever had van love, and then go off and pee?
Well, I'm going to go pee.
That's just not fair.
I want to know from you guys, has anyone had sex or worked out? Has anyone had sex or got booty in a work vehicle? I'll be right back.
That's just...
I love driving in a van.
That's just cruel.
I love driving in a van. Absolutely, man. It was just part of the world I lived in for years. So as a promotional radio guy, the station vehicle was definitely a sense of allure and intrigue to young, impressionable people back in the day who wanted free swag and radio giveaways. So 100%, you'd welcome people into the van and get it on. I mean, there's no question. I even got it on in an engineering van a bunch of times. Like engineering van meaning it's just equipment and shit in it. A broadcast booth and generators and of course. I mean, come on. There's that.
What'd you do with that microphone?
An amateur question, especially if you work in a van, you're gonna get some booty in it. There's lots of room in it. Growing up, when I always wanted a conversion van. I thought like that was the love factory. I always wanted a van just to get it on in.
By the
way, this is when I had a pulse in my penis.
Right. I don't have that anymore either.
I lost it somewhere in the hospital. But I remember those thoughts.
What were you saying?
I was saying that it just came with the territory. 100%.
Yeah.
I got it on in every station vehicle, I think, possible.
Covino's right. All I heard was the last thing he said, and he's right. If you have a big station vehicle with t-shirts and blankets and all this shit in the back, and it's like a big Humvee or a van or a truck or something, that's your office. Yeah, if you don't think at some point you're like, ooh, what if I meet like a hot listener? Or what if like some coworker or something? It became, as Matt said, the shaggin' wagon of sorts.
100%.
Let's see. Caleb said he was driving a hotel shuttle and picked up some freaks that were looking to have fun one time, and he got it on. He was the hotel shuttle guy.
Just part of the perk, especially when you're growing up. You know, when you think about the late 90s, the heydays of radio where shit like that even mattered, to see a station vehicle, that was as cool as it got. So, I mean, again, that's radio. We're talking radio. But whatever it is, if you drive a van, that's your office.
Yeah.
So 100%. That's where you make your memories.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. I don't think I've ever told this story. When I interned at WPLJ in New York, 95.5, before I interned for Scott and Todd in the morning, I was a promotions intern where, Covino, you know that world well. You fold t-shirts, you hang banners, the big roll of plastic banners, you get your little blade, hang it, and you're hanging banners everywhere. You're living that life. You're giving away freebies, you're making prize packs, you're calling contest winners, you're doing all this shit. I lived that promotion life for a minute, and I remember going out to an event with another intern, and I remember her name was Corey because I was like, is that a dude's name? Do you know any girls named Corey? Corey.
No.
Corey. Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was a girl named Corey.
One girl.
And all I remember...
Sure her name wasn't Corky?
Corky. You're making your way back, Covino, say?
See?
Rich had lower standards back then.
It's in there.
See, it's in there. It's got to work its way out.
I made a cheap, slow joke.
Yeah, you're getting back. I remember going to an event with her, and I'm not even joking, Covino. I wasn't even that attracted to her, but I was probably 18 or 19, and so was she, and we were both just norny. And I think it was more like, yo, you're sort of cute, and she was probably like, yeah, you're sort of cute. And we're like, we're in this remote location with the PLJ van, folding T-shirts. The event doesn't start for a while. No one's even in eye shot. We just went in the back of the van. I think she like blew me and we were made out or something. Like it was simply because, hey, we're both 19 or 18. We're both interns. And I think it was simply out of like horny 18, 19-year-old boredom. And I remember for like that whole summer, anytime they assigned us to work together, there was a sense of like, hey, like if we get the opportunity, we're going to like make out or touch each other or something. It was like one of those weird like
shame
arrangements, because it was simply nothing. We weren't dating. I don't even think we were into each other other than she was like a horny college girl. And I was like, yeah, we'll play around. Why not? Right.
You know what's sticky about all those scenarios and thoughts when you look back?
It's sticky.
Like you could have been in a power position, but you're like a few years older than these people.
Yeah.
And looking back, it could be misconstrued based on today's standards, a la morning show that you often reference, Rich, because
do you watch
think about
it or
it.
no?
If you're a young DJ, right? If you're a young host, and I'm not saying you were at the time, but it's very possible that this happens, right? You're a young host, so you're impressionable, and there's a young, let's say, young part-timer or even a young intern, and like you're like 2 years off.
Yeah,
that could be held against you looking in the past when it's like, yeah, we were just two young idiots getting it on back then.
Yeah, I'll be honest. At that point, I had no power, but there were times where I was 21, 22 years old, and I was like on the air, and there were interns and other people.
But understandable when you implement like common sense, or when you realize that you were just two young people getting at it. It wasn't like you were abusing a power scenario.
Yeah, like when you're 18 or 19, no one has enough power unless you're a fucking celebrity, right? So,
but that's how a lot of stuff is misconstrued.
Have you watched the morning show or no?
No, but I understand the premise of that part of the story.
Steve
and
Carell
I can totally understand. Like, think about me. I worked, as a promotions guy, I worked full time with a bunch of young and up and coming, impressionable, people, but we were all around the same age.
Yeah.
But because I was hired and they weren't, that eliminates my penis from the conversation that they probably were interested in the first place.
Yeah. No,
and it puts those memories in a weird scenario.
Now, your memory versus their memory, if it's a power position, could be different. And that's what you learn in like shows like the morning show. Like you might have thought it was like a hookup, and she was like, I don't know, he was a powerful guy, and it gets all sticky and weird. Sticky again being the operative word, but when no one had a power position, then it's just simply two people at work hooking up. And by the way, Rolando goes, "You think
not if they're like an intern or something and you're an employee."
Yeah, I mean, if you're both interns, it's probably safest, right? Or if you're both low-level employees, safest.
Yeah.
You don't have that sentiment about anyone in your life, Covino? The sentiment
of, what do you mean?
He goes, "You think she blew you?" I'll be honest, I don't remember. Are there girls you had moments with that you're not quite sure what happened because I don't know, it's 20 years ago?
100%.
And that's not a brag. That's not a brag. That's a, hey, I'm 42. I'm trying to remember a story from when I'm 19. You think I'm going to remember what happened in the back of a radio station van when I knew we were messing around? And I remember I was being like giggly, messing around, having fun because we were both like the horny 18-year-olds. But you think I remember?
We were bad. Bad for the time, I guess. Like, but it's just young people being young people at the same time too. So it's a matter of how you spin it. Is it bad to be young and have fun, like, and use CDs as bartering swag for a little action?
Yeah.
It sounds bad now as an adult, but when you're a young, horny person and you have two willing participants, it's just how shit went.
Two willing participants, which is, the perfect segue. And it could have been a good one, NW. It could have been great loving, but if it's that long ago, that's like trying to say, do you remember what your high school sweetheart's body looked like? Good luck. If you're 40, if you're around 40, if you could pick out of a lineup your high school sweetheart's body, I'd give you a high five, because how the fuck do you remember stuff like that when so much time has passed? Yeah. Like when you think of how long you and I have known each other, right? And where we've come as friends and where we've come as
exhausting.
It absolutely is. Trust me, everyone. It's exhausting for everyone. If you remember all the girls that we've dated, people you've dated, Covino, our old school radio buds. You're trying to tell me you remember, like, there's people that when I tell the story,
I don't really have intimate knowledge of your exes.
When I tell the story of like the girl I hooked up with that I had the threesome with the Tiny Tim looking girl. The only reason I have an image of what the good looking girl looked like was because there's a picture of her floating around somewhere, like in an old radio binder I have where it's like old pictures from events and stuff like that.
You have whole binders.
I have binders of women. No, but I know who she is, and I could probably look her up on social media to be like, oh yeah, that's her. But the Tiny Tim girl, if she came up to me in the supermarket today and goes, hey Rich, I'd be like, who the fuck are you? I just remember her being an unattractive third participant in a threesome. I couldn't tell you what she looked like. If she came up to me, I want to be able to pick her out of a lineup. Sarah's looking.
So to tie it all back together, it's like when nature calls, man. That Amazon guy got some ass. I mean, It happens. Like, we really villainize everything. It's like the dude got some action. It's not the best look when you're on the job, but I mean, people are horned up. People are getting some action. It's better than the fucking alternative of being miserable with life. Got some ass on the job. Good for him. Isn't that used to be considered a good day?
Yeah, good for you. Now, here's the
you can't expect to remember all those fucking details. If you remember all those details, then you didn't get enough action.
There weren't many details, right? I mean, they don't even need to be grimy. It's like, hey, someone recently asked me, like, did you ever make out with that girl in college? And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe at like a frat party we kissed. If you remember those little details, Covino's right. Either you don't have many stories or you have the memory of a fucking elephant. There's a good chance
I'll try to make those mental snapshots, but
I mean, I'll remember 99.9% of the time if I had sex with someone. But if you tell me, if I say, Covino, hey, you know that girl at K-Rock or Montclair State? Did you guys make out? You think you'd fucking remember?
Minor details.
Yeah, you might be like, yeah, I think we kissed. Maybe, yes, I think we did. Now, this segues into something a little more sensitive. I'm curious what you think, because someone's taking an approach that is often frowned upon and discouraged. And that dude is Barstool's own Dave Portnoy.
You love this guy.
I don't love this guy. No, I admire his brand. I admire his work ethic and what he built, Spot. He built a $500 million company out of a fucking newsletter because he was persistent and worked hard. How do you not? By the way, I bought one.
Rich has a theory that I've ruined all great relationships with people that could have been beneficial to our future.
I say that jokingly, but it's sort of funny because Gary Vee, Dave Portnoy, all these people that were like within arm's length for us to become pals with because they were on our channel and sort of presented to us. You were like, fuck that guy. Everyone you've said, Jordan Harbinger just signed like $1 million podcast deal. Every person we worked with at SiriusXM that has gone on to be someone that could have been an ally, Gary Vee is our boy again. But you were like, fuck Gary Vaynerchuk.
But I never had any issues with those guys whatsoever.
You were like,
didn't have anything bad to say about me. It's just a funny theory.
Yeah, you hated the Game On guys. And I can't say I loved them. I thought they were corny. But that guy's like a big podcaster now. And Portnoy, the Barstool people were put on our channel. And we had Portnoy on our show. And you're like, who's this fucking guy? Fuck Barstool. They cut into our replay. So every relationship we could have had, Spot, you ever think about that? Gary
But they all have a
Portnoy,
commonality, and they're very much the blowhard type of personality that is very hard to deal with at first, and then you grow to love them because
kind of like
you know they're not the most likable guys off the bat. You know, Dave Portnoy is a very arrogant guy.
He's very arrogant.
And I'm a fan, but he's extremely arrogant, and you know you could see how he would rub me the wrong way. off the bat.
Yeah,
but
of
you know,
course.
looking back, I'm a huge fan of his success and what he does, and it's a funny theory because we did have the same trajectory as all of these hugely successful personalities, all share channels together at one point. But you know, their personalities are going to clash.
I just texted Sarah, more coffee, please. And she said, why don't you get your van threesome girl to get it? It's a good answer.
Look through your binder. Maybe someone in there will get you one.
Maybe so. I bring up Portnoy, Covino, because, by the way, I bought one of his one bite frozen pizzas. Not in support of his, like, hey, let's show the man, buy my pizza. I actually coincidentally bought it at Walmart like last week. For frozen pizza, it's pretty decent. It's not like good pizza, but as far as frozen pizza goes, I was like, I'll try it.
I'll put it through the test.
It was decent. I'll go get another one. They're probably sold out. Now, yes, and Spot burnt the bridge with the biggest star of all, John Bastow.
You did. You forced me to do it.
Damn.
I never did. It's just, again, personality clashes. That's really what it comes down to, you know, and I was the radio guy in most of these scenarios. So I felt like they were stepping on my toes, and we just didn't know each other at the time that well. And it's that thin line of love and hate. You could see the commonality between everyone you described. Gary Vaynerchuk, who I called Very Gaynerchuk for years because he annoyed me.
Yeah.
Dave Portnoy, who, again, extreme blowhard. You think he's going to come out the box and I'm going to love the guy? He was on our channel.
Agreed.
He was an asshole. That's the truth. Jordan Harbinger, guy was always interrupting our show, interrupted our schedule. We were the premiere show that wasn't getting the amount of promotion that they were getting. So, like, how could I put my ego aside?
I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying your ego is not your amigo in some of these relationships.
But I also didn't do anything to hurt those relationships. I just didn't do anything to help them.
Oh, yeah, agreed. Remember that one time you ruined our relationship with Derek Poundstone because you told him that you couldn't give him any more of your frying pans to bend?
Yeah. But at the same time, you're your own guy, and I don't see you buddy chummy with any of these guys either.
No,
so you can't put it all on me.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
I just think it's funny that we had
some pretty influential people like right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the main girl on Patreon is a old former employee of ours.
Yeah.
But somehow the relationship didn't sustain. I have no idea.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah, for my coffee refill. Much better than Van Girl. Just saying. It was a radio station van. No, not the threesome. This is just a different story. Sorry.
Come on, Sarah. You're from
I thought
Texas.
Van Girl was the fat
Sarah's
girl
definitely
that
been
wore
in the
vans that you had sex with.
Back of a pickup truck. She's from Texas.
Anyway, I bring up Portnoy because
that's what I'm talking about.
Who said someone? Spock, can you scroll up the feedback, or who cares? Someone said, "I love how Portnoy is handling this," and let me give you the quick of it. And again, this is a touchy subject because
let me see.
It's a touchy subject for one reason and one reason only. Because anytime
that was Andrew Bennett.
Andrew Bennett. Yo, what's up, Bennett? Thanks for the support, buddy. Anytime there's a situation, Covino, involving some type of sexual misconduct or assault or wrongdoing, you never want you don't want to start backing up someone or saying, I'm with them, not knowing the fucking details, right?
True.
Then you're like defending a creep. But it appears as though Business Insider, which is like some bunk online blog magazine, right? Business Insider, for 8 months, had some like scorn, this woman that seems like just like a scorn type, tried to dig up anything she could on Portnoy for 8 months and put out like a smear piece on him, saying that when he's in Nantucket, he just has sex with these like 18-year-olds and he's a piece of shit. And one of the girls had to see therapy afterwards. And the other girl said that he's like into like weird kinky shit and he was choking her. And Portnoy takes this head on. And his whole stance is like, these are fucking lies. Business Insider. Now he's going after their CEO or president, saying that this guy can't even trade stocks anymore because he's been arrested. I'm going full force. My lawyers told me just to shut up and it'll go away, but fuck that. I'm not allowing this shit to happen to me. And he's taking the approach of people are saying inaccurate stuff about me. I'm not going to do let me sit back and let lawyers handle it. And he's online being like, yo, here's the DMs of, this alleged girl who said I was weird with her. Here's a text of her saying she wants to fuck me like the whole next month. Like, he's going in, Covino. And he's saying he's like, I'm an arrogant guy, but I have never done fucking inappropriate stuff with a woman, and I'll fucking go to the grave with this. And he's like going full force. And I wonder if you admire his approach if he is innocent. Because sometimes
from a legal standpoint, I don't know if what he's doing is smart. Probably not. But from an emotional standpoint, I'm surprised you don't see more people take this head on to claim their innocence if they truly are. I feel like I'd be inclined to want to do the same thing, but legally is usually what's going to stop people from doing that.
But
he's themselves in further. He's jeopardizing scenarios.
He's doubling down, Covino, on his personality, which is I don't take shit. I've never lied. I'm an abrasive guy. All the shit that you know about me.
He's got nothing to hide.
He's like, I got nothing to hide. I'm a piece of shit guy here and there.
It doesn't make you a piece of shit guy to have a penis. That's the thing too. And we're villainizing the fact that he has a sex drive.
Yeah,
these women, it's not like they're fucking hanging out with him because they think he's the greatest guy going. He's got money, he's got clout, he's got power. There's an allure there for him. So, and there's money grubbing fucking hoes out there.
And
money grubbing hoes.
But what they're saying more so, Covino, is that there is a sense that the girls, they reached out to, he's saying everyone in his circle, friends, family.
I'm saying he's a commodity too. So it's like he could be taken advantage of just as much as anybody else.
By the way, is that money grubbing hose? Is it the one that like auto retracts when you turn the water off?
Yes. Yes.
Money grubbing, it just like shrinks down.
The silver bullet.
The silver bullet. Is that what it's called? Money grubbing hose. Sorry, Rich. Go ahead.
So
they only last about 3 months, Spot.
Oh, good to know.
I was just thinking though, like the reality is, if you're innocent of something, Covino, I'm not saying, God forbid, this will never happen, and luckily we're not important enough. You would think, right?
You know what I say? Let he without sin.
But
cast the first.
If someone did say like, yeah, Covino was a creep with this, and you're like, yo, that's not true. I have the fucking receipts and everything. Do you combat it like Portnoy, or do you do the legal thing and keep quiet? Because he's saying, fuck that. I got nothing to hide. Oh, this girl that said she needed therapy after hooking up with me, here's messages of her saying, hey, Dave, could I fuck you later? That's 1 month after this apparently happened. Oh, the other girl? And he's like, oh, the other girl who said I was weird and it was kinky? Oh, here's other messages of her saying, I'll meet you in Nantucket for a fuck. So he's saying...
Nantucket is a beautiful island.
He's saying, I'm not a great guy. I'm not without sin. But he's saying, I can't let you say this inaccurate shit about me, trying to short the pen stock, trying to take our advertisers, trying to do all this. He's like, I will not sit back. I will die doing this. And there's sort of something, I guess you would say, refreshing
admirable
about that.
Yeah, no, I think this is his baby. He built it from the ground up, and he's going to protect it. And I don't blame him if he's innocent for taking it head on and trying to squash this as soon as he can.
Everyone sees a payday. Everyone wants a payday.
And
that's how I see it. This guy's a hugely, hugely successful guy, a self-made guy.
No one wants to work. And they want free money.
Nobody, yeah, you're right. Nobody wants to work. And is it possible that what these women are saying could be true? Yeah, but the fact that he's doubling down on it definitely disqualifies a lot of that doubt.
Right. It's tricky because, it's hard to, you don't want to victim shame, because if something really did happen, you don't want to be that prick that's like, there's just a girl making things up. But if he has proof that says otherwise, then
but if he's guilty of nothing more than just being a sexual dude that likes hot younger women that are throwing themselves at him,
which was the story from the start, like Rich said about 8 months ago.
Yeah, they've been doing this. This woman has been trying to do this piece for 8 months, Spot, which means she's trying to interview every single person, and people that are close to Portnoy, Covino, are saying that this reporter reached out with a whole like, hey, what do you have on Dave? Like, as if, we're writing a piece on him. Like, they had the story written, then they just had to find anyone to say some negative shit. So it's just an interesting story. He was on Tucker Carlson last night, and he said he's willing to go on any news outlet and talk about this forever until Business Insider's fucking dead.
Well, yeah, because unfortunately, a lot of it's he said, she said. And the only thing he has in his arsenal here is, like you said, the receipts proving that if he was such a bad guy, why do they still want to deal with him? But who knows? Mental abuse could be involved. Who the fuck knows? But it is refreshing to see someone going at the system and defending themselves when they just quite possibly were just being a guy getting his nut off. Pardon the expression.
Yeah. The court of public opinion is worse than the legal court. That shit could kill your career quick. That's from Renee. Lisa says, yeah, he's put it all out there, and he's not going to sit and wait for them to come to him. And he's saying, listen.
That's why, not to take it back to Aaron Rodgers, but if we said yesterday, if he had just come out and said, yeah, I lied, this is what I did, and gotten ahead of it rather than like let everything unravel for him, you might have respected it more.
I think it was Max Kellerman on a bender.
Oh, was it?
It was.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, Covino,
same guy.
By the way, Covino, I never even asked your thought on it. Do you think Aaron Rodgers lied, or do you think he was manipulative with words? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers? Because you can't. I made the point yesterday. There's no way on earth you could suspend this guy for lying if you're saying he's lying. That's not a suspendable offense. Everyone lies to the media in sports.
He was deceitful.
Deceitful?
But
yes.
I think he had his reasonings, but that doesn't give him the right to be deceitful and put others in potential jeopardy and not follow protocol and things like that.
Well, no longer jeopardy for Aaron Rodgers. I doubt that'll happen.
No, definitely not going to happen. But I do understand his reasonings and his allergies and his virility issues that he was concerned about. So I understand where he's coming from, but to pull the wool over people's eyes, yeah, I don't think there's any denying that he did that.
Let's see. I agree. No one wants to work. I don't think that's it, Spot. I don't think people want to free payday because no one's looking. No one's looking. No one's.
It's refreshing, and he also has the intelligence and the backing to stand up for what he built and what he believes in. And if he's confident that he did nothing wrong, I think that's a great look for him, because you want to eliminate any doubt, especially when you're as powerful as he's becoming.
I do think it's refreshing. So that story, I mean, listen, if he's a creep,
put yourself in that scenario, Rich. Yeah. I mean, if it's a he said, she said thing, you're going to want to defend yourself, man. And you have not even anywhere near to lose
what he has,
what he has.
Yeah. And if you're going to come out like that, you better make sure that there are zero skeletons in your closet.
Yeah, but you know what, Spot?
Because if there's even a shred of doubt, everything else that you say just is built on a house of cards, so it'll come.
But Spot, if he's like, listen, dude, I'm having consensual sex with like young girls that are after me because I'm a rich guy. I have texts, I have DMs, I have Snapchats.
I got money.
If he's saying that I have all the receipts showing that these girls, so in which month did they say I was weird? Well, I have text messages and pictures months after that saying like, Dave, when am I seeing you? And like with an ass shot.
Yeah. And that doesn't make him a bad guy. And that's the problem too, man. People want to villainize that in some weird way. Like and he has a sex drive and he's a young dude who's successful. It's like, that's part of the fruits of the labor here, man. This guy, he's living the dream right now. He can't get some ass without dealing with that kind of shit. He should defend himself as much as he could.
Mark S. has a great point, and I think we could end with that. And he said, hey, listen, to him, to Mark, Portnoy has always seemed like a piece of shit. But that doesn't mean he's done the things he's accused of, which I think we should all just remember that, yeah, he may be an abrasive jerk. You may love Barstool. Just
because you're an arrogant, abrasive guy doesn't mean you're a criminal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what they're making it seem like. So it's an interesting story. I'm sure you're following along.
Well, it's been an ongoing story. It's just now, I guess we're hearing more and more about it, but this has been going on for a long time now.
I have one last Aaron Rodgers COVID question. Being that he went on his buddy's show,
Pat McAfee.
Him and McAfee are friends. McAfee gave him the platform. You know, the criticism is he didn't challenge him, but that's the whole reason why you go on your friend's platform, right? Because you want to get your story out there, but, you know, you want to be able to tell your side with the trust of a friend like McAfee. So I get why Aaron Rodgers did that. But I think the bigger question is, when the dust settles and the smoke clears, I'm using too many, what do you call those, Pat? Cliches. When the dust settles, when the smoke clears, when the fog is gone.
Sorry, I got distracted.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to remember how all these people were so quick to call him an idiot and a moron and he's dumb and he's this and he's that? Is Aaron Rodgers like Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, Nick Wright, Colin Cowherd? Is he Terry Bradshaw? Every single person, Michael Strahan, Jimmy Johnson. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be like, all right, I remember how all of you guys fucking called me a moron and I'm uneducated and I'm dumb and I'm this and that. Is Aaron Rodgers going to fucking forgive and forget? Or is he going to, in his mind, have a Billy Madison style checklist of like people he's going to kill?
Again, you got to humanize him and ask yourself, what would you do in that scenario? Would you be willing to forgive and forget? I don't think I would.
His ladies.
He's a person. He's a man. He made a mistake, or however you want to look at it. Either way.
But forget the. I'm saying forget
his
the.
His ladies coming out swinging today too.
But I'm saying he is. For all.
But either way, would you forget about that?
No, I'm just saying.
Fucking publicly just dissing on you constantly.
For all intents and purposes. Everything from him mentioning consulting Joe Rogan. Spot and I slightly disagree on that because I think while Joe Rogan's not a doctor, to discredit Joe Rogan as like just a complete fool is also silly. Like he's somewhere in the middle. Not a doctor, but he's not like some dummy standing on a milk crate spouting out misinformation. You think he's that? You think Joe Rogan is equally intelligent as some random idiot?
It's like he changes his, he flip-flops more than you do.
Joe Rogan? That's not that's you think that's a characteristic of Joe Rogan? Flip-flopper?
Yeah, remember he was like obsessed with what was that documentary that like where you're supposed to become a vegan, and then he like flip-flopped and then became like mega meat bro.
Well,
it's like
my point is everything that Aaron Rodgers has said, from Joe Rogan to fertility to allergies to everything. Everyone on the mainstream news, from The View to fucking Howard Stern to every single person, is like, Aaron Rodgers, you're a fucking moron. And I'm like, in a month from now, when people forget about this and he's playing at an elite level and he's the best quarterback in the NFL, is he going to tell everyone to go suck his dick? Or is he going to be like, well, I forgive everyone? Because if I was Aaron Rodgers,
he could do it on the field and that's it. You know, let his play do the talking, and that's his way of saying suck my dick.
No, but I'm saying if you're Aaron Rodgers and you're doing a post-game interview on Fox, and they're like, Aaron Rodgers, you won the big game. You guys, hey, Packers are going to the championship game. What do you think, Aaron? Is he gonna be like, yeah, I don't feel like talking to you, random Fox guy, because I know you called me a moron 3 months ago.
Should. I know people keep, always want to say take the high road. And that's probably the best road always, like even my mom today, stay positive. It's like, how difficult it is to stay positive sometimes?
No, I
think it's easy?
Agree.
You think it's going to be easy for Aaron Rodgers, who's been vilified by everybody? You think it's going to be easy for him to stay positive while some jerk off wants to pretend like he's his best friend because he had a good game? Meanwhile, he shit on him for months. I don't think Aaron Rodgers owes anybody that.
If Aaron Rodgers hadn't established himself, this is a good question.
Because they're men. They're men. Yeah, look, and he comes with a public persona, right? And I get it. He has to deal with these questions as part of who he is. But he doesn't have to fucking pretend like he likes these people
if Aaron
just because he's playing football.
If Aaron Rodgers, Covino, had established himself, this is great. This is from NW. I'm reading the feedback. If Aaron Rodgers was more of a sympathetic, lovable figure in sports, and hadn't established a reputation of being like a narcissist and a diva and sort of like a know-it-all, would we be a little more understanding, forgiving, and sort of be like, Aaron Rodgers maybe goofed up a little bit. But because he has
all he had to do is own it, like other players have. That's really it.
You've talked about it with Andy. It's a difference between it's a difference between, you always point out how Andy Pettit admitted that he took HGH and no one ever
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, he's not the only guy that didn't get vaccinated, but he again misled people. So that's the issue here.
Like Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz. There are other guys that are not vaxxed, but they weren't maybe tricky about how they worded it. That's the one difference?
Yep. That's really it.
Yeah.
But it's hard, like I said, to not be human and pretend like, Howard Stern, Terry Bradshaw, you guys are great. Meanwhile, they just shit on him. Stephen A. Smith. These guys are so fickle with how they feel about this dude. Like everybody's perfect.
That's the thing. Like, again, I don't agree with how Aaron Rodgers handled it at all.
I don't think anybody does, Rich.
No, but I think that everyone from Trevor Noah to, like I said, to Stern.
State Farm is still supporting him. They made a public announcement yesterday that he's been a great spokesman.
I was happy to see that because it's like, is everyone supposed to just turn their back on you when you make a mistake? And he's an elite athlete. He did something dumb that I think we could all agree Aaron Rodgers made a mistake, lied, misled people. But I'm telling you, when every single person in the media, from the cackling hens on The View to Howard to Terry Bradshaw to, you said it, Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith, Cowherd, when everyone's talking about how Aaron Rodgers is a dope, why would Aaron Rodgers ever want to fucking talk to any of those people again?
Such a dope, but still one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, they're all going to want to suck his dick anyway.
That's
the truth.
Can I give you homework to watch something later?
Apparently he's got a hog too, according to Shailene Woodley.
Ooh. By the way, again, I'm not backing up what Aaron Rodgers said or did.
Hog.
Again, I've taken the stance from day one. I'm not gonna judge or hate or love on anyone for their thoughts on this. Just be safe in the best way you can. I'm not gonna hate on Aaron Rodgers, but I'm telling you, to expect him to want to talk to anyone in the media other than his buddy Pat McAfee, he should tell everyone to blow him, and that's sort of it. The end.
Are they allowed to do that?
And I had one more thought on it. Aaron Rodgers.
I agree, but again, it's not the gracious look. But does he have to be at this point?
Because then you just look like a baby.
Oh, I'm gonna give you homework, Covino.
Then you're just
stay
a baby.
positive. My mom would tell him to stay positive.
Then he's just a big baby boy.
Covino, I'm gonna give you homework other than Curb Your Enthusiasm, because remember that'll get you out of your comedic funk. Watch Curb.
Oh, is it back?
Yeah, 3 episodes in, Spot.
Oh.
It's really good. You're gonna like it.
I gotta sign up for
Very
HBO
funny.
Max.
Oh, we agreed that you're a good middle, Spot.
What does that mean?
You were in the bathroom taking your phone call on the new Curb. There's a whole thing about when you're at a dinner party, you need to put the talkative type of folks in the middle. Otherwise, the dinner party's thrown off.
You're the middle.
Yeah, but you're a good middle too. We're saying.
No, I want to be on the end.
I think you'd ruin the dynamic.
Depends on who else is there. Like if we're there, I want to be on the end.
Here's your homework, Covino. Curb to get you out of your comedic funk. And to get your fires burning again where you get aggravated at things. Because that's, aggravated Covino is like good radio Covino. Look up our good friend Pete Dominic. He was on like CBS News talking about Aaron Rodgers. And God, people are so righteous. It's unbelievable. Just that's all I'll say.
Okay, will do. But again, I think the brain fog. I'm on a lot of medicine, so it's going to take me a minute. But
what else are you on?
Soon Viagra, based on his floppy penis.
Steroids and stuff like that. And right now, like I said, dexamethasone.
Are you gonna come out of this looking like Bautista?
Yeah.
As long as my head doesn't continue to grow, that's the big hurdle. So let's get into Will Smith too. I like all these. Who's in the news right now? Covino and Rich talked about Aaron Rodgers. Talked about Dave Portnoy, Will Smith. Let's talk about this guy.
This no talent ass clown.
Oh, by the way, I talked about that on Fox Covino Sunday. You would have loved that conversation. People that shared names. Do you see that Josh Allen fucked up the other Josh Allen?
3 times.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. But yeah, Will Smith is another one.
Yeah.
In the world of sports, and neither one of the guys are the real Will Smith, but that was a big headline over the weekend.
How
Josh Allen,
Michael B. Jordan made the best decision ever by going with the B because it gives him his own cool identity.
Yeah. Big story over the weekend. That the defensive Josh Allen, sort of owned Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen this weekend. Both number 1 draft picks.
So here's the headline. Will Smith sought tantric sex expert and drugs after Jada rejected his, quote, ego-driven birthday party. There's a lot to unpack here, as Spot would say. There's layers to this.
Hold on. Will Smith. I got to read that. Will Smith
sought tantric sex expert.
I got to read this.
And drugs after Jada rejected his, quote, ego-driven birthday party. So, there's all the drama of like their open marriage. They're essentially swingers, but not. They have an open thing going on. They got kids. Their kids are fucking entertainers and weird and fun. Like, like
this
them.
This is where my brain fog kicks in, and it just makes me feel negative again, and makes me say, like, don't you just hate everybody and their stupid stories? I'm so sick of these stories and everybody and their life. I hate it. And I know that sounds
grumpy.
Counterproductive for a radio host, because that's what we do. We speculate, but like, the fuck is wrong with Will Smith? Seriously? Like, is there anybody normal anymore? There's nobody normal. Everyone's a big fucking pervert weirdo.
Well, here's the thing. That's why.
By the way, I do love that Willow Smith song. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Caught a vibe. I can't stop singing that song.
So
I caught a vibe.
You're so emo.
I think that's the only thing I like right now.
By the way, did you find yourself extra emotional over the past 2 weeks? And I don't mean negative. I mean like emotional. I cried.
I don't think so. Why?
I just cried very easily at things.
Oh, crying. Oh, you're gonna the next stage, Covino, is crying. You're gonna cry a lot today.
Yeah.
No, man. Just a little numb.
Well, by the way, you know what? You know how you have your story of your big-headed roommate at the hospital?
Biggest head I've ever seen.
You know what his story is?
What?
I was in the hospital and the guy next to me just sung, "He's an island boy," for 4 days straight.
Caught a vibe.
All right, Will Smith. Covino, you're right in the thought that here we were thinking that, like, at least some of these people have life figured out. They're living it up. They got money. They got looks. They got fame. What could they be sad about? And again, that just shows you that no matter how much
we're all
money,
human. We're all human.
We're
I
all
get
human.
it.
No matter how much fame or fortune or love or looks or options or anything, you could say, "Hey, give me $5 million and my life will be better." In one aspect, but you're still gonna have the same annoyances. Will Smith lost himself for a while after he tried to come through with an epic birthday party for Jada when she turned 40. Mm-hmm. In the wake of his hurt.
How old is she?
That's what I'm wondering.
She's not 40?
What year?
Jada Pinkett Smith.
It's like when I hear Ben Roethlisberger's only 39.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
That dude looks like he's 49.
She's 50. So this was 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
this is 10 years ago.
I was going to say, man, that doesn't sound right.
And by the way, guess who turned 70 today? Lou Ferrigno, the original Hulk, is 70 today.
I saw a meme that said, if you know what happens next, and it was Bill Bixby's eyes turning green. It's like, if you know what happens next, you're old and gray.
It's true. So
you think they could have found a better counterpart to Bill Bixby to become the Hulk? like Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby. It's like
I used to love that.
At least make them look similar.
Yeah.
There's nothing similar looking about Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno.
It's sort of like how Bob Saget was Ted Mosby's voice. It's like you gave a voiceover of a guy a different voice on How I Met Your Mother.
I guess that's true.
It makes no sense. Why would it not just be Josh Radler's voice? So, yeah, this is 10 years ago. He tried to sell, let me get to the party, which is what Jada hated. Will Smith didn't want to get a divorce.
Fair.
So he thought, I'm going to go above and beyond and do everything for Jada's 40th to save this marriage.
Must be some prime pussy. Sorry.
No, he has to live in that Tupac shadow. That's why.
Is that it?
So
she was all about Tupac back in the day, and it was kind of hard for a Will Smith to deal with.
So he planned a 3-day birthday, which included golf, hiking, a massive dinner,
Sounds nice.
a walk to an archway filled with pictures of his wife. But the elaborate lengths he went for a party, 3 years in the making, didn't stop. He created a documentary about their family with audio clips from deceased relatives.
Sounds like something you would do, Rich.
He put together a movie for her. He had Mary J. Blige perform because that's her favorite artist. He had her favorite artist do artwork at the party.
Sounds lovely.
It was elaborate, over the top. Wealth was being shown. Will Smith wrote in his book that he thought he was the, quote, perfect husband for this extravaganza. But Jada had a whole different vibe. She made him shut down the whole thing, saying he was disgusting, had an ego, and this whole thing was showy and stupid.
Said it was the most disgusting display of ego I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Here he is trying to do
a little desperate too. I mean, I know the intention was probably for the greater good of their relationship, according to the story, but very desperate now to feel like you have to go that far out just to fucking make somebody happy.
You have all this money, right?
Yeah.
She wallows in this money. She ain't, she's not living in a shack. She's not driving a 1987 Honda Accord. You have money. You acknowledge you have money.
Mm-hmm.
Your kids live very well. You live very well. Your parents, your mother and your grandmother are living very well.
Like, how much money do you have? Do you have like Island Boy money where they have stacks of hundreds?
They definitely
I'm an
have stacks of
Island
hundreds.
Boy.
Just trying to make.
There's no, doing like my super sweet 40th. I don't see the problem with that.
I agree, but clearly Covino will be the first
what
to...
he's doing. By the way, she's 50 now. I wonder what he did for her 50th.
Covino will be the first to
No
back
one
me
even
up on
got me a
this.
fucking cupcake for my 45th, let alone all this bullshit.
Covino will be the first to back me up that when a relationship, because I've been there and Covino's been there, when a relationship's on the outs, no matter what you do, is going to be interpreted the wrong way. You could do the sweetest nice thing, and instead of sweet or nice, the woman will interpret it as like try hard or shitty or wrong or something. So I get where Will's coming from. He thought he was trying to do everything possible. And
Well, it's too little, too late. Yeah, like that shit don't work when you're under like a cold heart and cold eyes. Like it's not going to be perceived the way you want it to ever in that stage of the relationship.
as part of this fail for her 40th, Will Smith went on a "I'ma go do me," quote unquote, journey. He did ayahuasca. He drank psychotropic teas 14 different times. He had out-of-body experiences. He describes an unseeable woman. Like, dude, this guy's like, again, when you think, oh, there's got to be normal people out there, everyone's a fucking lunatic.
I need an out-of-body experience because my body, it looks like I have a belly, but no muscle tone at all now after being in bed for 2 weeks. Can we make that happen?
He went on a revelation where...
You know, I've been considering, I went on like a wormhole. What do you call it? A
rabbit hole, wormhole?
You call it a wormhole.
A butthole? A balloon nut?
I went down a balloon nut about ayahuasca and people's experiences and what happens. And I know our buddy Jason Ellis went through it. It's very intriguing. It's very apparently you drink this tea and it like you vomit for hours and you like shit your pants.
Sounds great.
But you're like in this room with this guide and like you sit there and you see these things and you enter these other planes of existence and you come out of it like realizing that your current world just really means nothing. Imagine if I went through that. I already feel that way. Imagine
I
if
feel
I went
that
through
way
this experience.
after the past few weeks, but still, Spot, like you really need all that? Like that me is just I don't know. Teach his own provolone.
I find it curious because everyone like shares a similar experience. Like they encounter this being.
The only thing I have less of a desire to do is to run a marathon, like I see all these people doing on social media.
I'm with Rich on this. I don't want to agree with Rich at all.
I want to go on the ayahuasca. I bet you someone that listens to the show or watches the show has gone through this, and I would love to know from
if you need to freak out a little bit, just do mushrooms or find like a psychedelic strain of weed.
But this is like, how about this? I mean, like I said, I have this overwhelming sense of boredom, right? In the past few weeks. This is new. It'll pass. We've already established that. But I mean, when you lose the thrill of life, like you can't enjoy a fucking cocktail. Like you need ayahuasca. I get it. Everybody's different. I'm not saying never try something new and never say never, but
Covino,
like it's pretty discouraging when people have all these wonderful things going on in their life and they can't even fucking appreciate it.
I think that Covino, I think COVID mixed with all the common thread of our show before and after COVID has been a lot of, hey man, look where we are in life right now. Like, Covino's got his daughter's, it's your last year before your daughter's a teenager. You're at a place in your career where you're like, all right, is this it or is there something else? What's next? Yo, dude, I'm 45. You just turned 45. Is a lot of thinking, right?
I didn't even get a cupcake for my birthday.
There's a lot
of... Do you want me to make you cupcakes?
Well, you know what I realized? I realized I turned 45 and I totally forgot about it. I think everybody forgot about it.
We talked about it on the show.
I don't even remember celebrating my birthday.
Go back and watch the day of the show. I put 45 up on the screen the whole time.
We even played Zoom on your moon.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about it. I really don't.
Zoom on your moon. On your ass.
Do you want me to pull up the show from your birthday?
No, but Covino.
My point is that, I don't need all this Jada Pinkett Smith hoopla.
I think what's happening is you get to a certain age and life is no longer simple, right? When you're in your 20s and 30s, you know what gives you joy?
Ain't that the truth, Rich?
Fucking fresh butt cheeks, a raise at work, a party night where you have some drinks and you get buzzed. Like the little things give you joy. Know what I came out of the bedroom thinking last night? I put I put Ben to sleep. Sarah got Emmy. We do the little switch off every night so that one doesn't become too reliant on one of us. So last night I had Ben. And I said, yo, Sarah, is it crazy to think that in like 25 years, God willing, we're all healthy and alive? Like Ben and Emmy could be living somewhere else. Like they could end up not being close. They can end up being close. We may not see them that much throughout the year. Meanwhile, you spent all this time and energy molding them. And then when we're older, they might just be like, hey, Mom, I'll see you on Thanksgiving. Like you do all this. And it's a very weird thought when you start thinking... I think we're just hitting an age where you start thinking more and more and more about like life stuff.
I think
when you're 20 or 30,
my parents would say, yeah, exactly.
When you're 20 or 30, bro.
Think of all of our parents. They raised us and we're out of the house.
Yeah, but I'm saying when you're 20 or 30, your thoughts go as far as like, man, do I got enough money to go on that trip? Yo, I'm going to get drunk with my friends Friday. Yo, Covino, you fucked that hot girl that you met? Your worries and concerns were very surface and very... What would you say, Spot? Doused in like youth and stupidity? Now you're like, what's the meaning of life?
But I think that's most of America and what we're going through now. I mean, most people don't have a pot to piss in, as they say, Rich. Mm-hmm. How many people are really fucking...
Or a peebo to piss in?
I think they're living their life, but they're living beyond their means for sure.
It's true, but I think...
Who's pissing in pots?
I think more so...
Peebos.
Spot, can you find... Honestly... Look that up while I'm chatting here.
Piss pots?
No, look up pot to piss in. Does that phrase come from like Brooklyn, 1920 during the Depression? Like people didn't even have a toilet working. Like what is a pot to piss in?
I assume that wasn't there like the piss boy that used to go around holding pots for like the wealthy, so they wouldn't have to like leave where they were.
It's a good fun fact. It'll actually be accurate, unlike my I statement.
I can't believe you.
No, my point is though, Rich, is like there's nothing. Nothing seems stable in our lives at all. And I think that's a feeling that a lot of people, I think, can get behind, especially as time's flying and families are growing and our savings and our life and bank accounts don't match up to where you think they should be.
Yeah, but you start thinking like, ooh, do I need to invest in different things? Should I start a side business? I'm going to raise these kids. And then I talked to our boss at Fox and he's like, yeah, man, every weekend I'm just going to a soccer game, some dance competition. Then my son's going to baseball. And I'm like, man, that's a chapter of my life I haven't even hit yet. And I realized like, man, Spot, I see your brother Ed head first in the world of like every weekend's consumed with games, dance recitals, everything. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't even entered that fucking chapter yet. And I think our age, when you're 40-ish, I'd say when you're late 30s to mid 40s, there's a big, where am I in life overthinking? Where am I? I'm 20 plus years away from retirement. I'm not 20 anymore. I'm 40-ish. Where the fuck am I? What am I doing? Where are we going?
And are you providing the life for your kids that you had hoped for? Those are things that definitely keep me up. Are you living the life that you wanted to provide them?
Yeah. Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon.
No, it's true because it just goes very quickly.
Yeah. But back to Will Smith, by the way, you would think a guy that seems to have everything, him and Jada, have to resort to like weird open marriages, and he's doing these elaborate things, and he's on ayahuasca and all these mind-altering concoctions. And then he investigated tantric sex, thinking maybe that's a way to sexually win back his wife. Like, yo, Will Smith's dealing with that shit. Come on. Wouldn't you think a guy like him has it figured out?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I don't think anybody has the answers. That's why people turn to faith, because what else is there at that point? It's like, I don't have the answers. There's got to be something bigger than me. Something doesn't add up right. Something doesn't seem right. And that's where faith kicks in, I guess. And that's where people turn to religion. That's how I see it, because they need answers, or they want some sort of solace and peace in their heart and their mind.
Let's go drink ayahuasca.
When you got all this money and that's not doing it for you, and you got, a celebrity lifestyle where you could afford basically anything you want, and that's still not making people happy, you can only feel disheartened at that point, I would imagine.
He had a Spot moment, Covino, as people that pay attention closely. After Spot had his heart surgery, what was his number one quote he would always say?
What does it all mean?
What does it all mean? Will Smith said, if I'm this beautiful and successful,
it's beautiful,
and if I want to feel good about myself, I don't need number one movies to feel good. I don't need number one songs. If I'm this beautiful, I don't need hit records to feel love and worth. I don't need Jada or anyone else to validate me. I need to find internal happiness. So it's like, I don't know, dude.
But I would argue that that desire and quest for validation is what gave him success. That drive to get that approval and that drive to get that, be in other people's eyes something of value is what led him to become a successul TV star and music artist and movie star.
He seems to be a guy that just wants to be loved.
Yeah. And by the way, Covino,
admired.
What you just said, I mean, you're providing a great life for yourself and your daughter. And and in the big picture, you are, it's one of those things you don't like to admit, but you're in the top percentage of people in the country, right? That's just the fact of it. Like other people are struggling and they're in major debt. They live paycheck to paycheck. They're not doing well. And you think to yourself, yeah, everyone wants more, right? Everyone wants more success, more money, more everything.
I just want more Island Boy.
But would you want?
Do you think Jeff Bezos
I'm
wants
an
more?
island boy. Yeah, he wants to be a trillionaire.
That's insane.
He wants to be the first ever trillionaire, Spot. But Covino, the final thought on this is, you see people that you quote unquote admire, right? You don't want to be them, but you admire their vibe, right? Like the people we were saying before, like a Portnoy or a Gary Vee, or these people that really hustle and they're at that level above us where it's like, man, they got to that next level. Would you want that hassle? Would you want that mainstream public annoyance if it meant more money and fame? I bet you if you were more popular, your divorce would have been pretty publicly ugly, I bet. And that would have been a very hurtful thing. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, maybe those things are not what people really want.
I mean, it's the downside of popularity and fame and money. But there's a lot of upsides.
Agreed.
You just have to see if the upsides outweigh the downsides.
Look at Chris Harrison. Chris Harrison got a dream gig hosting The Bachelor. The guy made millions. But then he was sort of like shunned from the whole entertainment world because he's now thought as like a fucking Republican racist. And he's off The Bachelor. He's engaged now. He's probably happy in his personal life, but you don't think Chris Harrison every day is like fucking Bachelor people, motherfuckers?
I think he's sitting on a pile of money.
I know, but yeah, even though he's sitting on a pile of money, Covino, you don't think Chris Harrison's probably like, motherfuckers?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, none of it adds up, right? I don't feel like people are as happy as they should be. And I think that's all temporary. I think that's just what the world is going through right now.
You know what?
I really do. It has nothing to do with me being sick. It's just has everything to do with like, look what the news we're flooded with. Look at the stories that we're consumed by. Look at the amount of sickness we've had to deal with. Fucking the stories about our economy left and right. It's just we live in a world where we're just tearing people down left and right. That's just the world we're living in, and it's an ugly sort of feeling, an ugly sort of vibe. When everybody just wants to be happy. I know that sounds corny, but honestly, like, you know where I wish I was? My brother was in Costa Rica the other day. He looked like he's having a fucking time of his life. I just want to get on a jet ski and fucking leave.
Do it.
What the fuck is he doing in Costa Rica?
Do it.
He's at a wedding.
Don't you remember? Did he get the right suit?
Start living and being and less consumed with like all this terrible news that we're surrounded by constantly.
You see me, I've come to terms with the fact that I'm going to be in this little tiny box, in this little closet. And you know why? Because I grew up in a very loving household. This is where I peak, because I grew up in a very loving household. I didn't have like childhood trauma. I didn't want to kill people in my family because I was abused. I didn't throw a crazy 40th birthday party for my wife, but she wanted to fuck other dudes. It's like I lived a very happy, comfortable life, and it's and it's made me content.
But in the big picture, boring, I guess, right?
In the big picture, boring. It didn't drive me to want to be a fucking successful billion-dollar movie star, because the struggle
that's where our priorities are off, man. It doesn't need to be that way.
The struggle in my life wasn't created. And I feel like the struggle is what gives these people their level of success.
You know what, Covino?
As
honestly, Andrew said, if you're healthy, which you're getting back on track. If you're healthy, could pay your bills, you have a retirement fund, and you could afford a vacation or two a year and see your friends and family, what else really matters? Right? Like look at the big picture.
The health of your kids, the mental health of your kids.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If your family and if you and your family are healthy and you're not poor and you're paying your bills, you could, go out to dinner.
Can someone get my grout to stick on my floors?
Yeah, see, grout. Some people wish their annoying grout in their $1 million townhouse condo was their biggest problem. Right?
Like I said,
100%.
don't minimize your own personal struggles,
but realize that you're very lucky at the same time.
Right?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but it's not us, guys. It's this goes back to the Will Smith thought. It's like, here's a guy that you think has everything, but even he still doesn't have it together. Even he's still not happy. So it's like, well then how the fuck are we supposed to be happy if the people we admire and put on a pedestal don't seem to have anything figured out whatsoever? It just all stems back to that. But we have to keep our expectations in check, I guess.
Lisa Peragio says she'll come do your grout, but I don't know if that's a euphemism for something else.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it.
I don't know what that
means. I feel like I had one final thought on this before we moved on.
I don't know, but I'm going to overanalyze everything we discussed today, and I have to apologize if I bored anybody.
But
I'll be back.
No, man, it's great. It's just so great to have you back. Let's see.
I don't know about that.
No, it is, man. You said something. I'm trying to. Oh man, now I feel like I got the fog, but that's probably just from the edibles.
Island boy. I just want to be an island boy. Try to make it. I think we all have questions in life, man, and I've dealt with a lot of them in the past fucking 2 weeks. Remember, I've been sick now since the 23rd. Had lots of time to reflect.
Right.
Lots of time.
Too much time to think. Reflect. Too much time to think.
Too much time to sit there. It's extremely boring, and you just want happiness and health. That's really all you can ask for, Rich. I mean, I couldn't agree more with you. To be
slap
honest.
a cheek over the past 2 weeks. You know how depressing that was. By the way, any good scrub butts in the hospital?
None.
Not one.
None at all. Not at all. It's just a very frustrating experience. You know, I couldn't get past anyone's accent. Like, very frustrating.
I think the real lesson.
Where were you?
I think the real lesson to be learned here. This is from Jason Brown.
Were you in East LA Hospital? East LA Hospital?
We are all humans. We all have struggles that are impactful to our own levels. You know, you might be like, you know, someone's bitching about their jet ski is not working. That's one person's problem. Someone else's problem is that they can't feed their kids. Like, you ever see one of those people on the exit ramps? They're fucking sitting there with their poor kid with a sign saying they're poor. Oh, it's heartbreaking.
I'm convinced they make more money than I do.
I don't know about that, buddy. I think they would trade with you in a second, even if they were making money doing that. I'm convinced
it's all a scam. Did you ever see those things on like Dateline or 2020?
By the way, it does sound like the worst hospital ever. Where did you go?
Seriously.
Bunch of, I know everyone's here to help. I get it, man, but it was the most frustrating experience ever.
That's why it doesn't matter where I am. Kristen knows. Like, even if I'm dying, spend the extra time and drive me to Cedars-Sinai. That hospital's really nice.
All right.
Any other headlines in the news today to make this topical? Wrap it up. Call it a day. I know I'll be on Turbo later today again. I kicked it off yesterday, so it's good to get going again.
Wrap it up.
I got one other quick little
for the rest of the week.
I got one little quick list that could be fun, like more of a fun thing to wrap it up, if that's cool with you.
Let's do it.
There was a BuzzFeed article. What's up, BuzzFeed? BunkFeed, another relationship Covino killed. It's boomer culture versus millennial culture. We lean more towards millennial. We're a little older, like Spot. I think your birthday is sort of on the border of millennial, technically, right? If you were born in 1980-ish.
No, I'm still, what's before that?
I don't even know.
I'm a Zennial, so I guess I'm I'm Gen X.
Gen X.
So
right?
Millennials are typically 30-something nowadays. Boomers being like our parents' generation. And it's 30 boomer culture type of things versus millennial cultural tweets that perfectly and painfully show the difference between generations. And tell me if you agree with these. Boomer culture is having your phone ringer on full volume and letting the whole fucking room hear it before you answer it way later.
I hate that.
A millennial, not knowing your phone rings ever because you've had it on silent or vibrate since 2009.
I hate that. That's me.
Boomer, asking questions on Facebook that could easily be Googled.
Like Ian Kennedy.
Yeah, that's very, very annoying.
That's Ian Kennedy's total MO.
Millennials, hearing something ridiculous being shared on Facebook and subsequently calling your boomer parents to check if they don't believe it or not. Boomer culture, sharing posts of pets that went missing hundreds of miles away from where they live. Millennial culture, having the same Facebook profile picture since 2016, if you still even have Facebook at all.
That's me. I haven't changed my Facebook profile.
Yeah, that's a good question. When was the last time you changed your Facebook
my Facebook
profile?
Profile photo is me looking at the eclipse. When was that? 2017?
Fuck, yeah. My picture is Sarah and I in New Orleans. When was that? A couple years, years ago now?
I hate to change it because then everyone sees me changing it.
Boomer culture, not being able to use technology and then blaming said technology for not working, when in reality, it's just they don't know how to use it. Millennial culture, everyone 35 plus, assuming you know everything about technology. Let's see. I'll give you one more. These are
so hard to keep up with. They're announcing Spot. I'm sure you saw all the new MacBooks and the new Apple computers.
I'm so like behind on Apple technology. Yeah. I used to be all about that.
Yeah, it's impossible to keep up with that shit.
I used to salivate over like what the new
right. I had the same thoughts. Like you'd be all excited about all this new technology. Now you see these commercials for it, and you're like, what are they even advertising? Like, honestly, it's hard to even understand.
Once MacBooks no longer had any sort of connection ports in them, that's when I lost interest.
Yeah, there's one thing I saw.
Once they no longer had USB ports, I'm like, what is this? I can't deal with it.
When I went to the Apple store.
Look up the new commercials for the MacBooks. It's like, we're catering these products to like little alien people. It's really it's way beyond us at this point.
There was one thing I saw. There was one thing I saw at the Apple store when I went to get my new phone. That I was like, yo, I want that, but in my mind it was, I don't even know what the price point was. Spot, if you want to look it up. It's like the keychain. What do they call it? The Apple. Fuck, what is it called? Someone help me out on this if you're super familiar.
I don't know what you're saying. Explain it.
Oh no, it's a keychain where you could essentially locate your shit. It's like little tabs that you could put on remote controls.
Oh yeah,
your keys,
the AirTag.
The AirTags, the Apple AirTags. And I'm like, ooh, Apple AirTags. But in my mind, I'm like, nah, this could be hundreds of dollars, and I don't think I'm going to get it. How much are Apple AirTags?
AirTags are
$29
each.
That's it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do they do though?
So it's like, especially if you have kids. If you saw my Instagram story yesterday, I searched for my remote control for.
That's not the right one.
I searched for my remote control for an hour.
Oh, like the tiles? They're just Apple tiles?
Yeah, and Ben had put the remote control in the kid's little fake kitchen.
Right.
And I looked for that, but
like,
yeah, do you want
depending on how many you want? Like if you're okay, so now you got one for your kid, that's $30. One for your remote, that's $60.
The AirTags look cool though for your keys and the remote control, maybe. But then I'm like, is that just unnecessary?
Yeah. It's not unnecessary when you got little rugrats.
Yeah.
Because they just take your shit and you can never find it. So I know my sister Grace totally survives on those tiles and always trying to find her remotes and, whatever little kids' keys, whatever little kids get their grubby hands on.
Well, yeah, because you don't realize the kids could take the keys or the remote or something important and tuck it away in their toys. And you're like, where the fuck is it? You find
that boomer energy is so real when you see how far technology has come and how fast it's moving and how you have no idea how to even unravel what you're capable of.
Maybe I'll get it. A 4-pack is $100. I thought it was gonna be like 500. That's why you know what? Shame on me. Well, I'll give you one more. Boomer energy. Boomer culture is owning a cabinet of expensive china that you'll never use, but then complaining about the youth, quote, wasting money on electronics. Millennial culture is trying to find recommendations from moving companies and realizing that none of your friends have ever owned furniture nice enough to actually move to another city. It's true. Boomer culture is saying nuke it instead of microwave it.
That's stupid.
Let's see. Millennial culture is saying, might treat myself when thinking whether you should get on the bus home instead of walking. Yeah, this is dumb now. All right, but yeah, does this showing the difference, though, between our parents' generation thinking and people a little younger than us thinking? Millennial culture is everyone in your friends group owning the same piece of IKEA furniture.
Hemnes.
Everyone's got
Hemnes. All right, well, guys.
Before we go, can I?
Millennial culture having one pair.
We'll wrap up with some feedback and then whatever you guys say. Spot
one more spot. Millennial culture having one pair of AAA batteries that you rotate through the items when you need them.
That's why I bought a shit ton of rechargeables. It's the best investment you could ever make. Buy a ton of rechargeables and a charger, and then just as soon as they die, you put them in the charger and you put them back in. It's great. Quick sad mention, not to end on a sad note, so you can go through the feedback after this. Rest in peace, Dean Stockwell. That might mean nothing to you, but it means a lot to me, and I know a lot of people. He starred as Al in Quantum Leap.
I saw that because I know you love that show.
So, shout out, died at, passed away at 85. Dean Stockwell. Here, let me pull up a photo.
Boomer culture, referring to any drink from Starbucks as a Starbucks.
Dean Stockwell.
Starbucks.
When older people refer to a drink from Starbucks, they'll always recur. You got a Starbucks. And I think on that note, we call it a day or what? Really?
On that note, I just want to thank you guys again for bearing with me. I mean that a lot. Sorry if it came across a little negative, but just wanted
back. We get it.
Give you the reality from today's perspective. I do feel better than I did yesterday, so I imagine tomorrow will be even better. But thanks, guys. I appreciate all your support and patience through this, and would have never guessed that vaccinated or unvaccinated, that this would have took me out the way it did, because there was really seemed no reason for it to be honest. But
yeah, it just you know what, it's
I'm
you
doing
got the,
better,
you
and
got
I
the
appreciate
bad luck.
all the support.
It's just the bad luck of like that. The pneumonia just took it to a different level, which is just that can't be predicted. It can't be predicted.
That's it.
So
that's it. It affects, obviously, clearly affects everybody differently. I can get vaccinated in about 3 months. I'll get back on my oxygen later today and just get stronger every day, and hopefully start feeling like myself again. Get out of this atrophy that I'm in, out of this fog. Hopefully get my pulse and my peen back, and maybe recuperate some of my smile and my personality back, because I feel like I lost some of it in the past few weeks.
Are you officially negative? Curious.
You could be
positive for up to 3 months.
Tested positive for up to for months.
I tested negative, which I was surprised by.
Yeah, I bet you you're 100% negative, and now you just have the pneumonia side effects, I bet.
Yeah, I just have I'm not contagious by any means.
Yeah.
And I have a clearance to a doctor to work. I'm fine as far as, like we have some serious XM events coming up soon, and I'm cleared to do all that stuff. So
awesome, man. Well, that's good stuff. Yeah. I had one last thought for you.
No, we're done.
Curb your enthusiasm. Get your laugh on. Get it back. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. Are you making sure that this isn't your... Who's the comedian that everyone hated on? This isn't your Carlos Mencia moment, is it?
Why would it be?
Remember he said sometime around 40 to 50 something, you just hit a wall?
There's another guy whose head just got gigantic as time went on.
Remember he said randomly, like all of a sudden you go from handsome, smooth Latino man to like old guy in the barrio.
Well, again, he sort of, I was thinking about Carlos. I thought about him over my hospital stay, because he wrote on that. Remember picking on special people, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't think that worked well with his career, but I've always liked the guy. He was nice to us. He said that guys like me, they hit a wall and they're never the same. I got to be honest, man. I feel like my hair's brittle. I feel like I got gray. I feel like I got lines in my face from the tubes, because I've had tubes going around my nose for the past 2 weeks.
Oh, those are permanent. You have permanent tube lines now.
Yeah, I saw your dad.
Permanent tube lines.
Your dad said earlier, he's like, somebody get my son a razor.
Yeah, I didn't really give a shit today. Like I said, it'll be a work in progress to get out of this hole that I'm in right now and get out of this fog. That Spot knows exactly what I'm talking about as far as this fog.
This might be an opportunity for you to change your look. What about like the Island Boy look?
That could be good for you.
I told Jordan yesterday, I said, Jordan, can I dye my hair blonde? She goes, Mexicans don't look good with platinum hair.
I'm an Island Boy. Why don't you dye your hair red like the dude from Squid Game?
By the way, let's end on this. Two thoughts.
Yeah.
Would you just end already? Jesus. You keep saying, let's end on this.
I think the Island Boys got it right. I really do. I'm a fan of these kids.
That's why I'm saying.
I think they're just trying to make it, and they're having fun. And I do not hate on these kids at all. We're talking about these viral rapper kids. They're Cubans, and I think they're funny, and I think they're living their life.
They're Cuban?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They're Island Boys. They're
from Cuba.
Cuban B.
I didn't know that.
We're talking about these little viral rapper kids on TikTok who have exploded. I think they're living their life, and I'm a fan. I think they're funny.
They better make money now, because they're not going to have any normal job.
But you know what, man? They're doing their thing. People hating on them. I don't want to be that guy. Mm-hmm. Let everybody live their life and be happy. We spent half the show talking about, how we villainize everybody. We villainize everybody, and everyone's just trying to make it, trying to be happy, right, and get out of their own fog.
Right. Just trying to make.
Even Will Smith can't even fucking be happy. So, second thing. I watched Squid Games. My God, bro. I can't believe how you oversold that show. Like it gave you nightmares.
Yeah, it was freaked me out.
You're so
that's the most
soft.
Overblown shit I had ever heard you say, I think, in the past 15 years. I was like, that gave Rich nightmares? Like, what a softy pants you've become if that show gave you nightmares. I was so whelmed by the show. It was good, I didn't hate it.
You're
by
saying
any
it
means.
shouldn't be the number one show in Netflix history, is what you're saying.
Not even close.
I thought it was very well
Midnight
done.
Mass is better than that show. But the fact that you came in like this was the craziest thing that Rich Davis's eyes have ever seen.
He did
the
say,
worst
he
parent
said,
in the
I
world.
have
If you ever
nightmares.
expose your kid to this, and it's so terrible, and it gave me nightmares,
gave
and I
me
couldn't
nightmares.
sleep.
Yeah.
Man, it was like that was the most exaggerated shit I ever
I
heard
think
you
it was
say.
you know why?
And I want to stay positive, but I couldn't help but think the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, what the fuck was Rich watching that his little sensitive pants couldn't deal with this?
Yeah, maybe I'm just a big vagina.
I honestly like that. I'm glad you brought that up.
I think it was because
I've
it was.
been meaning to ask you about that.
I think it was because it was like very real. Like, yo, these people. If I just pictured it being more like no, real meaning like these poor people are like willing to put their lives on the line. Like, dead. I don't know.
TV show.
It was cool. It was a good show. It wasn't. You're right.
It was
I
a
agree.
good
It wasn't
show,
great.
but I thought that was way overrated, and and your reaction to it was so. Like it was one of the most off reactions I've heard you have in
That's great.
15 years.
All right. Well, on that note,
Watch Yellowstone next.
watch Dexter, watch Curb. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, arrivederci, baby.
I do thank you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out, and I appreciate it. Shit'll get better. Thanks for all the support.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Arrivederci, baby.
See you in the promised land.
Goodbye.
This is for
Bye,
real,
guys.
for real this
for
time?
real.
For real? Okay, we're done.